All right, here we go. Gilbert Arenas, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Some chaos after our last interview.
Yes.
Was there some blowback? Oh.
So it was interesting because it was unwarranted blowback. Like, what are you mad about again? Okay, I was positive.
Yeah,
I was really positive, more than I should have been.
Right, but you still got some flack.
Yeah, still got some flack.
These things happen. You could take it.
Yeah,
you could take it. You've been, dealing with it for a while. You've been, one of the top trolls for a while.
Yeah,
so, your troll game is on 100. Well, let's go ahead and get into what's happening right now. So we're in the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green ejected from game 1.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a flagrant 2 foul. A lot of people are saying it's a bad call.
Mm-hmm.
Agree or disagree?
Agree and disagree.
Explain.
If it was anybody else, if that was Clay, Curry, it would have probably just been a foul. I don't even think they would have gave them a flagrant 1 for it. Mm-hmm. Because of who the person is. I think, Draymond's reputation is what gave him the flagrant 2. I think they were going with flagrant 1 because of the pull down. It was one of those things where he's trying to stop him from getting up there. And then when he realized he's dragging him down, he's trying to hold him back up.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So I'm trying to pull you down. Oh, then I got to hold you back up. But I think they went with the face hit first. And, he came across his face. There's been worse. He's done worse. If I was a ref, I wouldn't have given the flagrant 2 because knowing his demeanor, he's never trying to hurt anyone. Just sometimes he does what he does.
Right.
But you can see in his thought process, I don't want you to score, but like, I don't want you to get hurt either. So you can see how he catches himself mentally. So you can see he's never out of his element. So, knowing that, I wouldn't have given him a flagrant 2.
Yeah, he talked about it. He basically said he got it because of who he is. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm never going to change the way I play basketball. It's got me this far. It's got me 3 championships, 4 All-Stars, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not going to change now.
Don't need to. But sometimes, you look back as a player and you wish like certain things didn't happen because you don't want this to happen in the finals.
Yeah.
So, you still have to be mindful of how far you can go because the refs are looking at little things like that.
Well, he ended up flipping off the fans in the Grizzlies game,
mm-hmm.
right? And then everyone was cheering, and he actually spoke by. He said, "I'm assuming the cheers is because they know I'm getting fined. Great, I make $25 million a year. I should be just fine."
He's fine. But that's what playoffs is about. I never liked the players getting fined for gestures if the fans are doing the same gestures. It's you're going into a hostile environment. They're going to say whatever they can think of to get under your skin. That is the point of being a fan in the playoffs.
Right.
On the road. Like that, I don't expect anything less than, the N-words and whatever you think that can get under my skin. My girl is doing this. I expect all that. I went into the game with that in my mind that you're going to say that. So me, getting kicked out of the game and then flicking them off because they're flicking me off, that's part of the game. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, like you're fining me for what? You think the viewership is going to go down because we flick someone off? No.
Okay, like how many fines have you gotten like through the course of your career?
I think I've been kicked out maybe 1 time throwing a headband. That was like my 2nd year.
If you add up all your fines, 100,000, 200,000,
maybe 100,000. One was 50 off the rump. Yeah, but my fines was like shoes, wearing the wrong color shoes from the NBA.
Right, I remember. Yeah, when you
shorts too long.
Right, when you didn't get the shoe deal, when you got dropped from the shoe deal, you started wearing like
no, not then. It was
not
before
then.
No, when I was with
then.
Adidas and I was trying to break the color barrier. The one they have now that's broken. It was me and T-Mac wearing those weird colors. So I was wearing orange shoes, blue shoes when it was just black or white. So they were fining me for it.
Okay, because remember there's a Jordan band situation Remember how he was wearing those,
so
the Jordan 1s, they were banned. They kept finding him and Nike was just paying the fines.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to wear certain colorways on. So like it was supposed to be like white at home, black on the road.
Uh-huh.
If your team is wearing white, you can't wear black.
Uh-huh.
It was one of those type of deals. And I was wearing orange shoes, blue shoes. I didn't care. Green and I didn't I was wearing a Redskins color. I was promoting my shoes. So, I was getting fined for that. But I didn't really get fined a lot for like activities inside. Like I was one of those players that I really cared about my point average and my performance. So I was not trying to get kicked out of a game.
Right. Right. Well, Kyrie had the situation with Boston where he told the fans to suck my dick. You think that was over the top or not really?
It's Boston. It's Boston fans,
The most racist fans.
Yeah, the most racist, so that's where he played there. So it's like a bad breakup.
Yeah.
It all go. Because you give the crowd too much power when you fine him for reacting.
Right.
Because now it gets worse. The fans get worse. Because they know he can't say anything back. They know he can't do anything. So, it makes it one-sided when it's a game.
Yeah, we see when it goes both-sided, like the Malice in the Palace situation.
But that's exactly the reason why you don't fine the player. Because what ends up happening is the fans feel they have this advantage over the players. What ends up happening is these players get fed up. Then you're throwing something at me. Now I'm going to come in there. Because what happens to a fan if you throw something at Kyrie? Nothing. Oh, we ban you? How the fuck we know you're banned? I'm getting fined 50, 100,000. How do we know you're really banned?
Right.
We don't. Because if I'm the owner, I'm not banning anyone. I'm not banning anyone. They did their job. They got you kicked out. You threw something. You got fined. They did their job as an owner.
Right.
Good job. Good job. Do your job. You know what? I'm going to upgrade you, sit you behind the bench, irritate them. This is the business if you're a sports fan. So what ends up happening is if you give the players, the fans that much power over a player, that's what happens because now you got players who are scared to do anything. They're scared to react. They're scared to talk back because you're finding us. The fans are not getting fined.
Right.
We can't go to their job and say, hey, well, listen, he said 10 curse words. You're going to fine him $50 each curse word. You're not going to do that.
Well, Brooklyn just got swept. And it just seems like, KD left the Warriors to join that team with high hopes, and it all just fell apart. It
It's just bad scenario. Being injured, not playing together. For the most part, how many games did they actually play together in those 2 years?
Right. Kyrie had the whole vaccination situation, so he wasn't playing for
James
a while.
Harden and the hamstring.
Right.
Katie last year Kyrie got hurt the year before. So they've never been a full roster, but when they were, they did damage. So it's just one of those things where it didn't happen as planned. They met the wrong matchup at the right time.
Then there's Ben Simmons. Stephen A. Smith said Ben Simmons might be the weakest, most pathetic excuse for professional athlete we have ever seen. And not just American history, but in the history of sports. I can't think of a professional athlete that has come across more pathetic than this man. Fair or unfair?
Unfair. It's unfair because the business side kicked in more than you can't, just when you think about it, you can't call someone scared and you're a defensive player. That goes the opposite of their nature. He is first team all defense. That means mentally he takes the challenge. So when you're talking about first team defense, you're talking about Gary Payton's, Dennis Rodman's, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen's, Kawhi. You're talking about the guys who are going after the best players. Now, he guards 1 through 5. Mentally, you can't say that this guy is afraid of anything because he wants the challenge of the best players.
But he hasn't really been taking the challenge. I mean,
Well,
from mental issues to back issues, back to mental issues again,
well,
back to back issue.
Okay, but
these fuzzy kind of injuries that no one could really confirm nor deny. But yeah,
but we're all smarter than the average. We understand that it's money involved at this
a
point.
lot of money involved.
You know, you're talking about, you know, a lawsuit of $20 million, right? So you got to remember how it all started is it started Philly messing up. Philly messed up first.
Right.
And they thought what they can do was, instead of just saying sorry to the kid, hey, we're sorry, we fucked up, we made you look bad, our bad. Instead of doing that, they have him come back to compound the issue, which they thought, well, we'll try to embarrass him by saying he has a cell phone in his pocket when it's a water bottle. You can see it, a water bottle. And then you prejudge that, okay, we're going to keep picking on him until he says something that we don't like, then we can fine him. So now we can suspend him for a game. Every game is $200,000. We keep that shit up. We get all our money back. And eventually, if you keep fining someone $200,000, $300,000 every game, they're going to act right. So they went into it with the notion of we're just going to fine him until he does what we want him to do. Well, they got smart and said, oh, back hurts. My back, right?
My neck and my back.
And then mental, you know, the new mental clause that the NBA put in where you can't fine a guy or you can't suspend him indefinitely. So that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do the defamation of the detrimental to the team, which means if I suspend you detrimental to the team, I can lift that anytime I want. So I suspend you for the whole year, fuck off. Because it's mine. You're mentally not stable yet. I don't, you know, whatever that means. You know, they pull one of those. So they just got outsmarted and he pulled it first.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he really wants to play? Or do you think he's just collecting checks? As someone who's collected a lot of checks for not playing.
Yes, you're 25 years old. Of course you want to play, but you got to remember, Philly held $20 million. So they're saying you're not hurt. You're not mentally messed up. $20 million, we're going to hold it. Now, how do you prove? Me, I'm not saying this is what Ben Simmons did. Me, I wasn't playing this year. Because you got to remember, if they're holding $20 million because I didn't play in those games, how do I get that money back? Well, if I come on the court, soon as I got to Brooklyn, then I wasn't hurt. They keep that money. So now I can't play because that original $20 million that they're holding. So now I have to continue the rouge. Same thing Kanye West did.
Oh, when he quit the tour?
Yeah, Lords of London, I'm going crazy. I'm crazy, everybody. I'm crazy. Because
Give my insurance money.
Yeah, because in his clause, going crazy was the only way to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's. But, you know, I mean, you know, you put a kid in a situation where the integrity game or his livelihood, and, you know, it's hard to walk. I mean, we can all say what we would have did, but it's $20 million on the table of you got 20 more games, 30 more games to just continue to just chill and win your lawsuit. Because if he plays, he doesn't win his lawsuit. And then Philly wins. Philly wins because they get to keep that $20 million that they robbed from him.
So it basically just comes down to a money game. That's all it is.
This was business. This was
just,
more of a
business.
In my mind, it was more business than it was him not playing or nothing. It's just he had to make a decision of, you know, and I can't say I would have did the same thing.
Okay.
As much as I would have wanted to be out there and have this chance, you're talking about something I can't get back, something that you guys did. You guys pulled this, Philly. It wasn't, I didn't say I wanted to be there. You didn't want me. You messed up. You tried to make me look bad, and then you want to hold $20 million. No, that's not, like, I can say if I messed up, like, you're just saying because I had a bad offensive game. Now, like, so basically you're saying because I had a bad offensive game, you're going to penalize me more. Like, I fucked up. Everyone fucks up. I had a bad year. I worked on it, and then you guys want to pull us to next year. All right, play games.
Well, I remember you had mentioned that you would not have come off the bench like Steph Curry.
Mm-mm.
And there was like a tweet or a comment where someone said, Steph cares about winning, Gilbert cares about Gilbert. And you said exactly.
Exactly.
No shame in your game.
But you got to
whatsoever.
remember, I was 25. I was 25 then. I don't know if Steph is coming off the bench at 25, but, two-time champion, NBA leader. I mean, three-time champion, NBA leader. Back-to-back MVP. It's one round. He's gonna do the better of. He's gonna do what it takes to get through that first round. Now you can see he's back in the lineup. But I don't know. I don't know a lot of players. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of players in their prime with the status he had comes off the bench just for 2 games, let alone a whole series.
Right, he's 34. Mm-hmm. So, he's kind of getting up there in age. He doesn't heal the same way that he did as a 27-year-old.
Yeah, but, I think, the move was because if you're the coaching staff, you're bringing Steph in. I think it was, and that's why I said I give him credit because it's him who's like, no, just keep it the way it is. We've been rocking. He's been playing well. We'll weed me back in the next round.
I mean, do you see the Warriors going all the way this year?
They're playing great. It's between them and Suns.
So you don't think it's Grizzlies and Suns this year?
No.
You think it's
because if you look at it, Ja is playing so well,
right?
So well to win by so little.
They just had a big injury though.
Huh?
They just had a big injury. The Grizzlies.
With who?
Hold on a second.
In this series?
Yeah, hold on. I think it was just the other night. Desmond Bane.
Oh, that hurts. So Desmond being injured, that hurts. That hurts scoring, which puts more pressure on Ja to score. And, if Ja has an average game, they lose.
Dylan Brooks got ejected for a flagrant foul, and Gary Payton, I believe, has a broken elbow.
Yeah, broken elbow.
Gary Payton II is actually a very interesting, type of figure because I actually interviewed his dad, Gary Payton Sr., just a few months ago. And did you know that Gary Payton had 2 sons 5 months apart, both named Gary?
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
He has 2 juniors?
No, he's got a junior and the second. He's got Gary Payton Jr., who doesn't play basketball, and Gary Payton II, who plays for the Warriors.
Oh, so that's Gary Payton II, that's not Junior?
No.
Oh.
There's another whole human being named Gary Payton Jr.
So, I never knew that.
Yeah, it came out in our interview.
When I was dating my Gary II's mom, who I met in high school, and then when I got the NBA, I had a relationship with another lady. So happened they both had the kids in the same year. So it was like they both wanted to name him Gary. So I said, okay, cool. You could name one Gary Jr. and one Gary II. So it was one of them things where it worked out for me. I'm happy for that. I got 2 sons named after me. We can keep my name going on.
So the women must have named him Gary and not him.
I think everyone sort of knew the deal. I mean,
that's different. That's
right,
different.
Right. I mean, when it came out and started to go viral, people are like, the glove is definitely not the right nickname for Gary Payton because he did not strap up at all during that era.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's was that 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 90s. They was having fun back then.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Payton's considered one of the baddest trash talkers ever. Would you agree or disagree?
Yes, I agree.
You played with him, right?
You
played against him.
Played against him. Just that 2001 to 2004-05 Gary was just, he was rough.
Like, what were some of the craziest things he said to you?
I remember it was my rookie season. It was my rookie season. I came in and he had 14 quick ones. I mean, it was like, it just seemed like back to back to back to back to back. Like, it was just like, you're coming down and I'm just going at you. And he scored every single time. Like, when that buzzer, I ran off the court like, thank you, Jesus. And at halftime, like when you're coming back out and we're at the half court, stretching and stuff, he's like, you lucky I ain't an AI type of nigga. I would have scored 50 on you at the half. I'm sure you would have. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And, you know, it was just one of those dudes where I'm glad he wasn't an AI type. Because he probably would have ruined my whole morale.
Right. What's interesting is when I interviewed him, I asked him if he's the baddest trash talker in the NBA. He said no. You know who he said was way worse than him?
Who?
Larry Bird.
Oh, I've heard the stories.
He said Larry Bird will talk to you the entire game and tell you the shots that he's going to make on you and proceed to make those shots. You said that not only would he talk shit to you, but he would tell you what he's going to do to you on the court. He's like, I'm going to shoot this from here. Boom. Oh, now I'm going to I'm going to bust your ass here. Larry Bird, of all people, you would think. But he was the truth.
He was, let me tell you something. People always talk about great basketball players. And they don't never mention him to be up in that round when they made the Magics, the Jordans, the Kobe's and stuff like that. But Larry Bird was cold. I don't think nobody ever could get out with him.
And that's where they got that's why he called himself Larry Legend. What's so funny is I stole a saying from him that I heard he used to say. They said here, you know, at the beginning of the game when they're shaking hands and stuff, Larry would say, all right, fellas, we're going to treat them like some little hoes. We're going to get a little pussy and we're going to get out of here. And they said that's what
Larry Bird?
Larry Bird used to say to the opponents. and when I heard it, I was like, I need that. I need to say that. That is hilarious. That's how you start off a basketball game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gary was vicious. I remember we talked about this one instance where he was playing against like a young Lamar Odom, and he was like, yeah, that's why I fucked your mom last night, and fuck your mother, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing his mother just died.
Ooh.
So he said after the game, he was like crying, and like he wanted to speak to Gary, and Gary was like, oh, my bad. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to get in your head. But like, I mean, it was very calculated where he would get in people's heads. They would start to play bad. And he would win, and he would just go about his day. It was never personal.
No, but it's not personal. Like a trash talker that's part of his game. That is like he's trying to get under your skin. He's trying to pick like Patrick Beverley. I can only imagine what comes out of Patrick Beverley's mouth because he's playing against the best offensive players every night. He can't just be quiet and just like, I'm going to just be quiet and guard. He can't pull a Klay Thompson. I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson says a few words here and there. But other than that, I'm like being a Kawhi Leonard trying to play defense and yeah, that was a good move. No. No. You gotta throw in, you gotta make the guy speed up. You're trying whatever it takes to get under this guy's skin to win that matchup that night.
I mean, were you a trash talker yourself?
No.
Not at all.
Like
you would just quietly go in there and win.
Like my phrases, like I'll say hibachi. Don't watch me, watch TV. Like what are you watching me for? Watch the TV. Like you got the scouting report. Like I'll say little slick shit like that. Because for some reason, I don't know if it's all sports, but I know basketball, they hate words. Like if I shoot it and I'd be like, raindrop. Like, raindrop. Right? That would irritate the hell. Like, yo, just make your shots and shut the fuck. Like that's how players are. So when I used to be like, hibachi, catching fire, hibachi. Yeah, it used to really like get under people's skin.
Ja Morant. I mean, do you think he's the next big player in the NBA?
Yeah, he's a stud. But we knew that coming into the draft. It was him and Zion. The way they played the game, you can tell it was going to go to the next level.
But Zion seems like he didn't really get to where he's supposed to be. I guess there was the injuries in the beginning, but I just don't hear very much about him.
Yeah, because one, he's in Pelicans, one, he's injured. He missed the whole year. So, like the NBA, they move on. They move on until he can get himself back into that spotlight. But once he does, that whole hype is going to come back.
Right, because the buzz was crazy when he was like, this is the next Jordan, the next LeBron. This guy's going to change basketball. Then injured, sitting it out.
And I seen it. I seen it early.
Really?
Yeah. When they were talking about, oh yeah, he's 285, 290. He's bigger than almost every player in the NBA. And I'm like, when has that ever been a good thing? Being big.
being tall, but not being bulky.
Big, like you're that big and you're only 19. What happens when you get older and weight naturally just catches up?
Because he seemed a little overweight, honestly. When I looked at him, he seemed a bit chubby, for a basketball player.
That's it. When he came back from the Duke, when that Duke injury when the shoe split, he was about 310.
Sheesh.
They didn't say anything, but
how tall is he?
He was 6'6", 6'7".
310.
Oh no, he was big.
Wow.
Like he was like, but you got to remember, it's also lifting for the first time. So if he has that natural football body. So if he looks at weight, he's gonna gain. If he looks at a weight, he's gonna gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So we seen him in preseason, like he looked kind of big on that sideline. But if you took off his shirt, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean he was built.
It was just built. It was just all muscle. So he has to lose a lot of and that's what I said. I said if he became a 2 guard, a shooting guard in the NBA, he will have a GOAT-like career because that means he's going to be sitting around 230, 235, and he's going to be Dwayne Wade-like.
Okay, I can see that.
Dwayne Wade didn't need to shoot when he first got in because he was faster, stronger, more explosive than everybody. That is Zion. You just got to lose all that weight, and from there you just come downhill.
What do you think of John Morant's dad?
He
said, called out his son, said he was playing like trash.
As long as his father's like that, then John Morant can't fail.
I mean, people are comparing him to LeVar Ball a little bit. The dad.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. It's a thing.
I
wouldn't necessarily. I mean, people really got on LeVar, but I'm like, yo, he's going 3 sons in the NBA. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I thought, like LeVar Ball did an amazing job. I mean,
I agree.
When you talk about parenting, you're talking about positivity. If you look at Serena Williams, the King Richard movie, positivity. Mm-hmm. You might not like him as a person, but when it comes to him and the kids, it's positive reinforcement. Do not tell my daughter she can't do this. Do not question her thought process. Like, that's the same thing. What do you mean? Zoe can beat people with his shoes off. So, like, that's how he spoke. So when you hear that as a child, like, I can do anything because my father said I can. Same thing with John Morant's. Like, well, he had a horrible game. He had a horrible series. Mm-hmm. What does that tell Ja? You won that series playing bad. What happens when you have a normal John Morant? Now look at him. Because, that's what I said, as long as his father sounds like that, then John Morant's going to always look for improvement because his father's going to be hard to satisfy. Knowing if you look at the way the two act, they act like brothers.
Right. And you have your own daughter who's now really gearing up.
Mm-hmm.
You think she's going to make it to the WNBA?
Who knows?
Is that the plan?
The plan is wherever she wants. If she wants to, make it that far, it's like, well, every year you're going to have to train a little bit harder. You got to push yourself. This ain't something you say, oh, I want to be a WNBA player, and then you go to the WNBA. Like, that's not how that works.
I mean, what do you think about the whole transgender thing in sports? For example, I've always kind of made jokes about this, but I've always said, like, imagine if Kevin Durant put on a wig and joined the WNBA. Mm-hmm. What would happen? It would just be absolute destruction. So it would be like 100-0 every game.
This comment can go south fast.
Yes.
Well, when it comes to basketball, only basketball, it's going to be hard for a transgender to actually play. And the reason I said it is because most female hoopers want to hoop with men. That's like women basketball, men basketball, to them, we're hoopers. Mm-hmm. It's like the only sport. We're hoopers. So if you go to the park, you have females playing with males. I'm a hooper. Don't judge me so to have a male who wants to transgender into a female and then go to women's basketball, that would be beneath his hoop instinct. Like, he's a hooper first. Like, I'm a hooper. So that's why you haven't seen a teen who transgendered down and they're like averaging 40, 50. Doesn't happen. Because if they can average 40, 50, then they're averaging 30, 25, on the men's level, and they're still a stud. So it's kind of, that's what I said. It's kind of what because I've played against, my daughter's played against transgenders. Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah, in high school.
Okay.
Like, so AAU, they have transgender guy. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of this.
Horrible.
Okay, so you said horrible?
Horrible.
Like they played horrible.
Horrible. They're horrible.
But so these are men who
Transgender
to women.
Mm-hmm.
So they have long hair and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But since they're in high school, they're probably pre-op, I guess, or something.
Probably No, I don't know if they had the operations yet.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like we play them against, you play with them on the circuit. None of them, not one is even decent.
Well, are any of them obscenely tall?
Yeah, some of them.
Really?
Horrible though.
Like 6'5", 6'8"?
6'5", 6'6". Mm-hmm.
Really? You know, because for example, I mean, there's the
Well,
whole.
but when I say horrible, you have
horrible.
to understand. You have to understand why. At that age, we're not talking about adults. I think people think adults. When you're thinking about a child, right? The child is trying to figure out what he or she wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
So for a boy, he's trying to, like, I feel like I'm a woman inside. He's really taking on those characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
He's not taking on male characteristics in sports. So he's basically more female than a female.
So he's trying to play like a WNBA player.
Worse, because a WNBA player, a WNBA girl is manly in her game.
Yeah.
You're talking about telling Kim Kardashian to play basketball. That's how that looks.
Huh.
Like, ouch. Like, it's one of those. Like, it's like, Like, so, like, even the girls are like, oh my God, this girl is too girly.
Well, I mean,
It's too girl. It's like, it's too girly because it's that age. So it's not one of those that had to hide who they were the whole time and then be like kind of good or dominant in that sport, and then it's transgender. Now they're dominating.
well, I mean, there's the case with Leah Thomas, the swimmer,
Yeah.
the transgender swimmer who was ranked like 400th as a male,
Mm-hmm.
but as a transgender, once she entered the female league, went to number 1.
Yeah, see, but that makes sense. That's in college, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's already too late. That's already, you're 20, 21 years old at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been practicing and training against men this whole time. So yeah, you've already like tapped into being a man. Now you decided, okay, I want to be what I naturally am inside. That's too late. That's like a man who's been practicing boxing the whole time, learning how to box and do this, and then say, oh, no, I'm going to finally change into a woman.
Right.
Now you have the skills and all that knowledge of on the male side trying to transfer it into the female side, which is too late.
Right. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner,
Mm-hmm.
who used to be Olympic athlete, Bruce Jenner, actually agreed with the critics of Leah Thomas. He said it's not transphobic, it's common sense to put someone in that situation against women and suddenly they go number 1. And I mean, think about all the girls that have been training their whole lives to really be the best swimmer they can, and suddenly they start losing to this trans person over and over again. I mean, it must be heartbreaking.
That's what I said. It's like me, like if I had to make rules, it's case by case, certain sports. If you participated in male sports, you cannot participate in female sports.
Slippery slope.
No, but you can't.
Very slippery
You
slope.
can't
right
train.
there.
But you can't train as you can't train as a female boxer. I mean, a male boxer until you're 20, 21, 22, and then jump into female boxing. No,
Says who? Says you.
no,
You're the only one that's saying that. According to the rules that are happening right now, which are very fuzzy, there's really nothing wrong. You could be. Bruce Jenner was a man for like 50 years.
But that's what I'm saying. But look at Bruce Jenner. You were an Olympic gold medalist.
Yes.
Now, what if you decided I wanted to be a female? You're already a male gold medalist.
You're about to be a female gold medalist.
You're about to be a female gold medalist that'll never lose ever in life. Like,
yeah.
no.
But there's no, see, but that's just a
There's
rule
no
in your own
rules.
head.
That's why I said, because there's no rules. That's why. There should be rules, and that's one rule. Like, if you've been training and playing as a male, Like you are competing as a male. Like, so if you competed in male swim meets, you cannot now go to women.
According
that
to
should
you.
be a rule.
According to you.
No. I'm saying that
Yeah,
should be a rule.
Right.
That should be a rule.
Try to push something like that through when people are going to be like, that's unfair. That's transphobic.
It's not it's not
just because a person realize they're a woman later in life. Why are they being penalized from their previous life?
It's not being penalized. Like the women who've been training as women are being penalized.
Exactly.
Because you got to remember, me training as like if you take a WNBA, if you take just a regular natural girl and you say, all right, you practice with males for 10 years or you practice with females for 10 years and you guys meet, who's going to be the better player? The one that's been playing with males the whole time.
Really?
She's going to be more aggressive, assertive. She's going to know how to attack better. She's going to be stronger naturally. Her game is just going to be way different.
Well, but look at, for example, some of the female college coaches. You know what I'm saying? Who, what's the one who had like more wins than like anybody? You know what I'm talking about? Hold on.
Stanley? No, Tennessee?
Tara Vanderveer? 42 seasons, 1,099 wins.
What school?
Hold on a second. Stanford.
Never even heard of her.
The women's college basketball coach with the most wins of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's coached the Stanford University women's basketball team since 1985.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
1,163 wins as of 2022. I mean, Coach K doesn't have those types of numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, that's longevity.
Yeah.
Longevity, and then you get to keep your girls for 4 years versus what's the name? But, it's one of those things is, like, my daughters, they play with boys first.
Right.
So, most basketball girls, like the ones that are going to be good, they played with boys first. So when you take those girls and you put them in girls basketball, they dominate girls basketball. Because you gotta remember, boys are faster, stronger, more athletic, so they have to adjust their game. So when they go back down to girls basketball, they become like, oh, these girls are horrible. That's what my daughter's like, these girls are horrible.
Well, she's been playing with you the whole time, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So I've seen it too. So it's like, it's just because I've seen it from girls basketball. If this girl trains with boys and then she trains with girls, she's going to be better going this route. So if you have a transgender who's participating all boy stuff, growing up boy, and then you throw them in women's sports, they have such a big advantage. Like you're telling girls who are natural girls who are getting penalized because it has too much testosterone. You're penalizing them. So if you're going to penalize them, how does this one work? If you can be a male and then you transfer into a female and that doesn't go against you, that testosterone level doesn't go against you because I guess you're masking it. That's what I said. I don't know how it works. I just know, like, just to be fair, it just seems just to be fair, wrestling, off limits. Boxing, most combat sports, off limits. Basketball, no problem. Tennis, no problem. Swimming, no problem. Especially in that adolescence age, because at that age, all kids want to do is like if the kid loves sports, let the kid play sports. You know what I mean? Let them like. It's sports. There's really no dominance in like how many males would it be Serena Williams when she was 14, 15 at that age?
I see what you're saying.
Not many. So it's like let them go, and then once you get to the next level, then there should be another set of rules. And I think there should be rules because you have loopholes where someone can say, well, I'm just gonna, I'm ranked 400. Let me go ahead and win a couple goals real quick.
See, but the thing with that,
what if this guy? So what if the swimmer? What if later on decides to go back to being male? Do they take those goals away? Do they take those wins away from him?
Uncharted territory. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, for example, remember there was mate in the New Jersey prison who was transgender, and all these trans rights groups were demanding that she be admitted to the prison, and it's total, like, it's unfair that someone who identifies as a woman should not be in a woman's prison. So they let her be in that prison, impregnated 2 of the inmates. And they had to shut the whole prison down, essentially.
So
willingly impregnate. Like, it's not like these women were raped. They had consensual sex with this transgender person. I mean, the only one around him who got a penis, like, you know what I'm saying, is willing to slang it.
It makes sense. Okay, I get it.
Right?
It makes sense.
2 of them ended up getting pregnant. The whole prison had to be shut down.
For what?
I mean, clearly.
But what did they expect?
I mean, listen, female inmates get, pregnant by guards all the time. But when it's an inmate, it's a little bit more easier for these things to happen.
That's what I'm saying. What did they expect?
Well, they got what everyone else expected.
It's like, what did they expect? Like, I think there's just everybody wants their rules to go the way they want without any thought behind it.
Right, common sense.
There's just like, like we want everyone to be treated equal. Unfortunately, everyone can't be all the time. And that's why I said, when it comes to a certain age, when it comes to transgender, I was one of the only people who wasn't boycotting, the game when the girls was playing. I was like, I've watched Layup Line. We're good. Trust me. And I'm telling the parent, let it play out. Trust me.
Oh wait, so you're saying that other parents were upset that there was a
other parents were
player?
Parents were upset because it's 6'5". It's 6'5",
muscular,
6'5", muscular, and touching the rim and everything.
Touching the rim.
Yeah, and
tallest person out there.
But I'm watching the dribble. I'm watching the shot, and I'm like, no, this is gonna be a cakewalk. And I'm like, listen, just let it play. Just let it play. Or I said, our girls need to learn how to play against athletic people anyway. If they want to go to the next level, I don't mind.
Right.
Just relax. And then sure enough to go out there and it was like, good call. It was terrible.
Yeah, but at some point there's going to be someone who could dribble, someone who could play.
Then that person's going to want to play with males.
Well, but they might not be good enough to excel on the male side, like the swimmer, but on the female side, they're just sweeping it. People want to win, man. Listen, at the end of the day, you know how to, listen, you could say that it's all about perseverance and work and everything else like that, but the reality of it is that you put more effort and passion into things that you succeed in. If you're always losing, you probably will get bored of something eventually. But if you're always winning, then you're going to have more of a drive. This person sucks on the male side, but when he starts playing with females, like, I'm always winning. Fuck this. I'm gonna go where the winds are.
But it seems like that, but like if they did a survey right now for the WNBA players and say, how many of you want a chance to play in the NBA? You would have more than half.
Lots would, right.
But
they would not excel.
But it doesn't matter. They would not excel.
But it doesn't
matter.
I mean, mentally.
But that's okay. No, they wouldn't excel.
Is there a single WNBA player that can go into the NBA and do well? Start on a regular basis.
Start?
Yeah. Not sit on the bench.
I'm not even gonna pretend no.
No. Not a single human being. Out of all the people in the WNBA from all over the planet, women who are freakishly tall, freakishly strong, and so forth. Not a single one.
It's hard now because I got to look back at some of those games of Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie back then.
Right. Or could they actually play in the NBA with the real NBA guys? Not sit on the bench the whole year. I mean, actually get real play time and be a factor.
I want to say no. I want to say no. But there could be one that can.
Maybe.
Because all it comes to is speed. When you're talking about shooting, there's probably WNBA women who can shoot. If we just did nothing but shooting,
right?
You can pull in our top 10. There would be probably about 3.
Okay, is there a Steph Curry in the WNBA right now?
Yes,
there is. Who just shoots threes just like
Like if you had Taurasi shoot 100 threes, she's in the 90.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all they do.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all they
once
do.
you get up on
and
them,
they play all year
changes.
round. So when it comes to just, them playing, it's the athleticism that they don't have. It's usually the athleticism, but
and the weight. They would get thrown around a bit.
Curry doesn't get thrown around. There's some out there like, we'll manhandle Curry. You got to remember, they fuckers play rougher. They play rougher. They play prison basketball. So it's just like I want to say no, but there might be a few that can hold their own offensively. It ain't really about like being dominant. I don't think anyone will be dominant, but top on the top 14 team, yeah, you can definitely.
Well, you and Richard Jefferson went at it over some of your criticisms about the NBA draft. You actually compared the NBA draft to Squid Games. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah. Because see, Richard Jefferson was privileged. He was privileged. He was part of the elite who was going to go lottery, so they didn't have to do the things we did. So when I talked about Squid Games, is anyone who wasn't in that below 14. So basically, if you didn't think you were a lottery, you had to go to Chicago. It wasn't about measurement. Rich Jefferson, they just did the measurements and all that. Well, the rest of us, we were Squid Games. We're playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 5-on-5. We're battling. Like, we're really battling because you got to remember, if you have a bad session, just a bad session, I'm going to go back to college.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not going to get an agent. I'm going to go back to college. So basically, it was Squid Games. It was basically
you're dead. Yeah,
you're dead.
Dead to the league.
Because
get out of here. Yeah.
I remember Jason Gardner. He had a great first night, second night, third night, very bad. He's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm going back because it's survival. 1-on-1, 2-on-2. It's survival. So I'm in there playing Squid Games. I'm in there like really like making a name for myself in that game. We don't see behind the green curtain. We don't see the top 15, the Joe Johnsons, the Kwame Browns, the Richard Jeffersons, and who was in there? Eddie Griffin, Eddie Curry. Don't even know they exist. I don't even know they exist. That's how. That's how Squid Games were. We thought everybody who was getting drafted was in this pool of people playing. Like, you guys are horrible. I'm king here. I'm the king here, and that's how that was.
Well, Kaepernick had this Netflix special, and he actually compared the NFL draft to slave auctions.
To who?
Slave auctions.
Huh?
Did you actually watch this?
No.
I mean, they literally had this whole kind of thing play out where you had the NFL players and suddenly like the screen kind of switches and it turns back into slavery and you have the slave masters picking the players based on their size and everything else like that. A lot of people got upset over that because slaves weren't paid $20 million and could walk away whenever they felt like it and so forth. I mean, as someone that, you didn't go to the NFL draft, but you went to the NBA draft, do you think that's a fair comparison or do you think that's unfair?
Look, as a hooper, man, we're just happy to be selected. You know what I mean? I don't like, you call our names and we get to go play to the next level of our profession. If that's called slavery, we're all signing up for it. Like, I don't, like, but I'm not deep into, shit like that anyway. Like, I guess if we just look at life anyway, we can compare everything to slavery. He has his journey, and whatever that is, that's his biz. I didn't watch the special. I never really watched football. I just watched certain players. I think their draft, from what I see, is horrible. Just period. Just the concept of how they value their talent just seems dumb to me.
How so?
You're judging people on how fast they run a straight line. How does that translate into talent?
Well, it's a factor. It's not everything, but I guess from the point of view, from the business point of view, it's like, hey, listen, we're about to dish out millions of dollars for this person, not knowing what's going to happen. Right after they sign the contract, they could get injured.
Mm-hmm.
They could decide not to play. They could, go out the deep end like Antonio Brown. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. So we only have a certain amount of money to play with. So let's try to, have as much information as possible to make the most educated business decision that we possibly can at this moment.
And running fast is one of them.
Well, I mean, obviously running fast is part of being a
like,
great NFL player, no? I mean, being a great athlete, period.
Like, if we're going off of that, then you just might as well throw a whole bunch of track players in there just to run fast. Like,
but that's just part of it. It's not like they go in there, they run, and then they go home.
Like, no, I sit there and watch with a 4-2-1, he's going to drop a few rounds. How? Can he catch? Can he think? Does he know the playbook? Can he retain information given to him on the spot? I mean, this is just run straight. This is like telling a basketball player, hey, make a layup. I would hope they can make a layup at this point. I will hope he can run down the field fast. He's a receiver. A receiver, running back. That's one thing you're supposed to do. Run fast. If not, you're going to really struggle. Right. You know what I mean? You're not going to really get far. So that's one thing I just look at. I'm like, that doesn't bring out the talent. And you can see why, like a Tom Brady goes where he went. Because you don't have anything that it's like being a really brilliant kid in school. It's not built for how you think. So when you're talking about NBA drafts, how do you bring out the competitiveness in everyone? Because at the end of the day, when them light come on, that's what is out there. Lions. How can I tell who's a real lion in these formats? I can't.
Like for you, when you went from college to the NBA, what was the biggest thing that really you weren't ready for?
The size, physical,
everyone was way bigger.
Speed, how the lane closed up and open. Like it was just a gameplay itself. It was just a different game plan. So when they say, well, 10,000 hours of this makes you a master, well, every level you move to, that 10,000 starts over.
Right. So you need 10,000 the NBA.
You need 10,000
all over again.
So in college, 10,000 to be a great college, but now you're going to the NBA, you need 10,000 to be that expert. So you have to relearn and see what skills you have are great, what skills that you need to drop and add new ones.
Yeah, I mean, even Kobe wasn't great like his rookie year. Like he had to build up to it.
Yeah, he had to build, he had to learn. He had to learn the game, understand the rules, understand how to manipulate the defense and understand the defense, understand the concepts. So how can you tell who has the capacity to do that in a draft that does not allow any of that? So you're talking about guys who the top 13 don't compete against each other. Shit, now if you're first round, you don't compete against anyone. How do I know if you're a competitor? How do I know you're a Ja Morant, right? That you miss a layup, that layup eats at you for you to go out 47, 8 and 8. How do I see that in you by yourself? Or you this guy who soon as someone dunks on you, you're frail. Someone blocked your jumper. Someone threw a ball out of bounds and you're scared now. That does not happen one-on-one. If you're going to put money into it, and this is your business, if I have the number 1 pick, number 2 pick, whatever, there's no by yourself. I have 4 people I want to pick. I need all 4 of you to battle. Play. I want to see who stands out. What is your skill? Are you a half-court player? Are you a three-quarter player? Are you a gamer? Are you a first three-quarter player? I need to know what I'm having instead of paying you these millions and then I find out on a whim. Like, oh my God, I need to get another superstar because he don't know how to finish games.
Well, Charles Barkley, he criticized Kevin Durant. He said, all these guys walking around with these championship rings, hey, y'all bus riders. When you're the bus driver, you've got all that pressure. When you have to play well or you're going to get the blame, that's a different animal. He said Kevin Durant is a bus rider rather than a bus driver. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. I think old school is having a problem with who they were. You got to remember, the new school is watching everything. We're watching you get teased by Shaquille O'Neal every chance you get that you haven't won a championship. What do you think the new school? I don't want to be that. I don't want to have all these amazing stats, and the only thing you hold against me when we get to conversating is a ring.
No rings.
You trump me with the ring. Every time we get to arguing, you see Shaq does one of these.
Time.
So now, as a player, we're looking at, I need that. You can't trump me with rings, just like when Kevin Durant, Charles Barkley can't say nothing to him. He pulls the ring
Pull
card.
the ring out.
I got the ring.
Boom.
I got two of them. Like, I got two final MVPs. Like, you know, and that's where, like, you don't want to be in that category. So you want to be a bus driver to the point where I want to get to the destination. You know, so if I need someone to help me drive the bus a little bit better, okay. I'm not going to wait till I'm on my last leg, which Charles Barkley did. So when all these guys, I'm like, well, I didn't go try to win it. Yeah, you did. You tried to go to Portland.
Right.
I mean, Houston, you went to Houston and tried to win a championship. Just didn't work. Right? But players are now like, I'm not going to wait till I'm at the end. When I win my championship, I want to be a part of it. And, you know, so it's like, it's just a different mentality, but we're learning off of the jokes the old is doing towards each other.
Well, LeBron said that he'll never miss another playoffs for the rest of his career. He said this shit really hurts. I mean, are you surprised the Lakers got knocked out this year?
Yeah, I'm hurt.
Yeah?
I'm hurt.
We both live in L.A.
Yeah, it hurts.
It does hurt a little bit.
It hurts a little bit. Especially when then the NBA didn't even make it better by putting at least the Clippers in there. It's just like, yeah, you're just going to
We got no one.
You're just going to screw us all the way over, okay?
LA's real quiet right now.
You're just going to get Paul George COVID. Come on, don't do that to us.
Well, Tracy McGrady said that Kyrie and Kevin Durant are more skilled than LeBron and D. Wade and Jordan and Pippen.
Skilled at what?
Just overall more skilled.
I would disagree, because if we're talking about offensively skilled, dribbling skilled, then yeah, but defense and jumping ability is a skill too. And, you know, Dwayne Wade and LeBron's, you know, the way they, you know, played the passing lanes, jumped, block shots, played defense. Like, I mean, their skill level on that, on just the game itself was very high. Yes, Kyrie and Kevin Durant are offensively juggernauts, but you have to be able to, one group, yeah, they might not be like Dwayne Wade wasn't this amazing, you know, dribbler, slasher, dunker, blocker. Like, you look at his creativity once he got in the air. You got LeBron jumping over people. Like, I mean, you know, the things that they did, like, that's skill. So it's hard, because you're trying to say what, if you're just looking at the one dimension of just dribbling and creating your own shot, then yeah. But when you're talking about overall, even I don't see how. I would say LeBron and Dwayne Wade are in front of Pippen and Jordan.
You would put LeBron and Dwayne Wade
skill-wise,
Pippen and Jordan. That's interesting.
Because you gotta remember, Dwayne Wade blocks shots. Isn't he in front of Jordan for shooting guards?
I'm not sure.
He might be in front of. So you have a shooting guard blocking shots like he's some fucking big man. You know, that's a skill, right? He was a defensive player. Like, so he really took time to play defense too. Then you got LeBron James. Both of them got about a 44-inch vertical. They both use their athleticism. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard Pippen was skilled. Pippen was long. Pippen had a knack for it's really what you prefer when you're talking about skill.
LeBron actually agreed with Tracy McGrady, though.
Because we think offensive.
I mean, he basically did, you named some of the best guys that ever did it. So yeah, I mean, I respect the opinion.
When you talk offensive, then yeah, those guys are two of the most skilled offensive players that ever played this game.
I mean, LeBron is 37 now. How many more years do you think he has until he retires? Like what's the
40,
oldest?
40, 41.
Okay, for 3 to 4 more years. Like, what's the oldest player that played in the NBA and still excelled?
Jordan. Was that Jordan at 40? I don't know what Kareem looked like when he was that old. From his stats, it didn't look very well.
Right. I mean, I'm saying there was lots of players that played
like dominant. I think Jordan was probably because when Jordan scored 50 at 40, that was first time ever.
Right.
So I think Jordan's 20 points a game at 40 years old, I think that was probably.
So 40, that's pretty much where you start to hit the cutoff of human ability in basketball.
Regular humans is around, we done stopped around 35, 36.
Superhumans,
the
Jordans,
like
the LeBrons, the Kobe.
They pushing 40s.
Right. Yeah. How old was Kobe when he retired?
37, 8. Yeah, he wasn't a superhuman.
Right. I mean, he scored a lot in his last game, but they kind of let him.
Yeah, but I wasn't let him. It's just his
a little bit of let him. Come on, it was his final game ever. They wanted him to shine.
No. You do not want 60 to be put on you, bro. You do not want 60 to be put on. But it's Kobe. It just all clicked. It was like it's like one of those farewells. That's how his story was told.
Well, you said that you would put the 95 Bulls over the 2016 Warriors. You said nobody was stopping Jordan.
Nobody was stopping Jordan.
So you put those teams together against each other with a time machine, Warriors would get swept.
I don't think swept. It actually played. One factor played. It happened where I said KD is more containable than Jordan was, and you've seen what Boston did. The reason Kevin had a hard time is he has to play defense 100% of the time because either he has to guard Tatum or Brown. 100% of the time. Those are the only two matchups he's going to have. Well, Tatum and Brown on defense didn't have to guard Kevin Durant the whole time. So Brown can guard him a little bit when Brown gets tired. Tatum, you're fresh. You guard him. Hey, you too tired? Marcus Smart, you guard him. Hey, Horford, you guard him. So they had more pieces to throw at Kevin. So Kevin has to look at a new lineup that's what would have happened with the Bulls. Ron Harper, you get him. Okay. Scotty, Jordan, Dennis. Like they had more players that they can throw defensively at them versus who's guarding Jordan? Okay, whoever's guarding Jordan, who's guarding Pippen now?
Right.
Well, you guys are, but to really get a real true perspective on an answer, there's only one person that can change my mind. Steve Kerr. You played
with both. Yeah.
You played and you coached.
Right.
He's the only one, no matter what he says.
I see what you're saying.
I agree with him. You know what I mean? He's the only person I'll say, whatever he says, I agree.
Did he ever speak on that?
I don't know.
I don't think so, yeah.
I don't think, and that's the, whatever he said, because he played, he was there, he was part of it. So he would know if his team was better than the team he's coaching.
I mean, I remember when Gary Payton, I did an interview with him, and we talked about how he couldn't stop Jordan, but he definitely slowed him down.
I was like, yo, look, just let me guard him. It is what it is. Let me slow him down, and then we can get everybody in a rhythm. And then when I slow him down, don't worry about me. I'll figure it out. So when he did that, I slowed him down. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we had. We knew we couldn't stop him. We just had to slow him down. We had to make other players do what they had to do.
And I remember the whole The Last Dance, where Jordan kind of laughed at what he was saying, and so forth. And, we talked about that whole situation. I mean, do you feel that Gary Payton legitimately was stopping Jordan, or do you think that it was just one of those one of those fuzzy kind of moments?
You know, because it's I would say yes, because it was personal for Gary. You know, it was the only assignment that he needed and wanted. You know, so it's easy, like when you really like say, this is what I'm going to do, you got to remember, if Jordan is scoring 35, 36 on 50% shooting, if Gary holds him to 40%, 42% shooting, Gary did his job. Gary did his job. Like, you know, like the ideal of someone scoring 0, that's not ideal.
Right.
If a guy, you know, like John Morant, I think he had 30 something, 40. You hold him to 22.
Yeah, you might win.
You did a good job. That's a good job. You did a great job. Like, if you hold him to 22 in this series, that is a great job. No, you didn't stop him. You contained him enough to win. That's what defense is. You're not shutting down another professional. It is hard to shut down another professional. You just hope that your defense plus bad shot taking equals a 0 for 10.
There you go.
0 for 10.
Well, Shaq said he would coach the Lakers if he got $25 million a year for 4 years. Do you really see Shaq coaching a team, period?
No.
Why?
This is not a knock against him, because he was great.
Yeah.
But he was gifted great.
I mean, he was born big.
He was born big,
Huge.
athletic, and was skilled.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Except for the threes.
yeah, except for the three. So the mentality of what it takes the day in and day out to be a great player, that was Kobe's complaint. You know, that I get here at 6 o'clock working on my craft. You're just God's gift. You know what I mean? So, will he have the brain and capacity to break down for the lames? That's not him. And that's where usually greats have a problem with, making it normal. Like, that's why Kobe was a great coach, because Kobe didn't have the 48-inch vertical and all this. He had to work on his craft. He had to understand the game. He had to understand angles. That's why mediocre players make better coaches. Like, I mean, they do.
Steve Kerr?
I mean, you know, like,
I wouldn't say Steve Kerr was mediocre, but he was definitely not the best player of the
he's
team.
not the best player. I mean, you know, you got Jason Kidd, but you know, he's looking for
Well, Jason Kidd I thought was great.
He's looking for him. He's like Steve Nash. They have the passing. They have the get the teammates better, you know, philosophy. So, you know, they're looking at it from a coach's standpoint anyway. You know, there's just some guys you can be like, well, he's probably a number 2 guy. He's not a head coach. Some guys are assistant coaches. You're forever assistant coach. You're not really a head coach. I mean, it takes a special skill to be head, you know.
I mean, have you been watching the Lakers HBO series, Winning Time?
I started it. I haven't really like sat down and like really focused on it.
It's a dope series.
I know.
It's really. I mean, it's got the comedy.
Like, that's what I said.
I've
watched it where they just, they haven't drafted. Like, it's the first. I'm still in the first episode. They haven't drafted them. They're still doing like Bus and Magic or like becoming friends. So I'm on that part. I haven't really.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry West.
I see Jerry West is
he's
pissed.
threatening to sue. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar calls it boring and shallow. But, you know, I mean, they kind of turn every player into somewhat of a character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? With comedy aspects and dramatic aspects and stuff like that. So I can see why Kareem and Jerry West probably don't like it. But
you know what I started to like realize just with elders. They want to go back, right? And fix their mistakes that they did and rewrite their past. Or they're looking at their past from today's brain. Like I remember telling my kids, man, I worked hard. Like, I bust my ass in practice. I did this, I did that. And then my dad was like, your dad was so lazy growing up. Like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, I did all this, yeah, here and there, but you was lazy. You didn't really, everything was just a joke to you, and this game is too easy. You didn't want to go out there and play hard. And I'm like, that's not what I remembered. But that's how, when I look at Kareem them, it's like, you're talking with this perception of who you are now, not who you were then. Mm-hmm. Like, you're trying to talk as prestige. Like, y'all were prima donnas also. Y'all was prima donnas. So don't bash the players today for being prima donnas, because you was prima donnas. Just agree.
A lot more money now too.
But that's just it. Just say, I understand where he's coming from. I do. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, look, listen. I slapped Kobe. I tried to get him traded. They wouldn't trade the man. Just like, you can say that because it happened. You know, you're talking about Ben Simmons. You did this. Kobe tried to do that too. If Kobe could have got you traded his first year after you slapped him, trust me, they would have did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But so I just don't like how, you know, us ex-athletes pretend that we were something different. That's why I was honest. Like, if I was Curry, I wouldn't have did what Curry did. No. Nah.
We would have sat on the bench.
Yeah, you sit your again. Hey, the captain's back. Everybody get back in your positions. That's what conversations sounded like back then.
Well, I mean, speaking of the whole Lakers thing, and by the way, they cast Magic Johnson perfectly. The actor they got to play Magic is like, wow. They just, with the smile and the look and everything, they just nailed it.
Did Magic cast that himself?
I don't know.
That's me.
That's me. That's me. Well, I guess there's a new documentary coming out about Magic. And I guess in the documentary, he said that Michael Jordan told him to retire after his 96 comeback from HIV. Mm-hmm. That was a very interesting time. I mean, you remember when that happened.
Yeah, I was just like getting into basketball. Yeah. I wasn't really a basketball fanatic yet. You know, it was just, you know, you hear the stories, Magic, you know, Jordan, never really. I became a Penny heart when Penny got drafted. That was when I'm like when you know, like, come across TV and you're watching draft and they show those highlights, and I'm like, because I think like Blue Chips just came out.
The movie, yeah.
Yeah, Blue Chips just came out, and it was like Penny there, and he's like Butch, and Butch looks nice, and then he gets the draft, and I'm like, that's him. That's who I want to be.
Penny Hardaway.
I'm Penny Hardaway. I wore 25 because of it.
Yeah.
That was my high school number because
you wore phone posits?
Yeah.
If
because of Penny. No. I never. No.
You never wore phone posits?
No, not in no game. My Penny Hardaway collection never touched floor.
Okay.
It was all.
But I mean, in your personal life, you were wearing phone posits.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like back then,
one of the most iconic Nike shoes.
Then, you could not. I wouldn't walk more than 10 steps with my shoes. With Penny's was like heaven. Like, it was heaven. Like, I had my toothbrush. Like, I was one of those. So, like, on a bench. Like, I was on a bench, and I remember having the all whites on, those Penny all whites, and I just, like, you don't even have to.
One little scuff and it's
don't
over.
sub me in. That's how. But yeah, I was 24 in high school my freshman year, and I changed to 25 because of Penny.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's pretty amazing what Magic Johnson has done, considering he's been HIV positive this whole time.
Yeah, I really want, you know, it's because I was young. You know, when I have time, I want to be able to sit down and just watch how everything unfolded. You know, because, you know, when you're a kid, you're not processing everything. You know, it's 96. You know, I'm a teen, so I'm not really. You know, it's not my world. You know what I mean? I'm not a Laker fan at that time. Yeah. You know, I didn't become a Laker fan until Kobe came. You know, so it's one of those. Is I'm, you know, my love started with, you know, Penny, then being a Laker fan when Kobe, a high school kid on the Lakers. Oh my God, I'm, you know, every high school kid. Kobe Bryant. What are you talking about? I don't care about anybody else.
Right, he was 18.
Like we were kind of like Eddie Jones. Like Eddie Jones is, but it's like get Eddie off the bench. Put Eddie. Eddie's average. Eddie's an all-star. We're like, get Eddie off we want Kobe. Like, and that was, that time. So, going back, and I'm glad they're like releasing these just so, at least my era can like watch and see who these guys were. Because, we really don't remember their basketball game. Like I know Magic, Magic Johnson weekend.
The no-look pass,
Not really, because, that's the 80s.
It's the 80s, yeah.
It's the 80s game.
Right,
like,
yeah, I feel you.
So it's like, I'm watching the tail end of, so
you didn't get to experience it real time and really
I gotta see like the real Magic.
Right.
The real one, the one everyone fell in love with, the Magic versus Bird. Like, I want to be able to relive that. That's why I think like those games and, they should be recycled so we can really see who's who, what's what.
Let's switch gears for a second. Blac Chyna recently lost her $100 million lawsuit against the Kardashians. As someone who has a long history of winning lawsuits against women, what did you think of that?
One, you're going against one of the most powerful families.
Who were all united in this case. Like, they all took the stand. They all knew what to say. No one was like, I ain't snitching, I ain't taking. No, everyone took the stand.
It was a defamation?
It was Well, it was defamation in the sense that she insisted that there was supposed to be a second season of, Rob and Chyna, and she felt that the Kardashians stopped it and messed up her money.
Okay. Don't they, if they don't want their son to be in part 2, you can't sue.
That's what came out in the lawsuit, that essentially E said that they didn't want a show with just Blac Chyna because she was just too toxic by herself.
Yeah.
And since Rob did not want to do a part 2, there's really not.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a waste of money. Like, you were better off just asking for $2 million.
Give me $2 million.
$100 million makes them fight. And then they're going to fight because they have the backing to do it, which just drains your pocket. You better asking for $2 million, $1 million. Now they win the option. Well, we give her $1 million, shut her up. Nah.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I've been through enough lawsuits to know, like I've, we've been in, what do you call it? Like before court where you try to sit down.
We had negotiations.
Yeah.
Mediation.
There we go. Like we've sat and made mediation before, and we were told it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. We're just trying to come up with a number here.
Yeah.
Like we were told that flat out,
and
we were like, nah, fuck this. Like, nah, like it does matter who's right or wrong, and we'll spend some more money, and we'll ultimately get this number down, which is what we did. But like, they were probably, she was probably offered some sort of settlement, which she turned down. She was trying to go for you think they were offering her nothing the whole time?
Zero.
The Kardashians?
Zero. Kris Jenner.
Not on my watch.
If you owed her $25, she would take you to court for that 25. They're just, when people say, when the line you just said that we're just looking for a number, is because mathematics kick in at that point, and they're like, well, we're asking for 50. 3 months, it's going to cost you $300,000. Just pay the 50. Some people are like, nah, I'm going to spend the $300,000 so you get zero.
Yeah.
And that's where Kardashians is. I will spend $1 million so you get nothing.
Right.
Versus giving you $200,000. Nah, I'd rather spend $3 million for you to get nothing. So it's, you got to understand your opponent also.
Yeah. Well, and in the process, number one, it was revealed that she hadn't paid taxes for 3 years. So the IRS is going to come knocking on that door because now it's on paper, right? You're actually admitting to that. So think about the losses and the penalties and everything else like that.
So money that's already spent.
Right. An audit is probably going to be coming. And, when it comes to audits, if you basically, show that you didn't actually pay at all, they could start auditing you the year before and the year after. So it could turn into a major audit in terms of what she's doing. Rob said that she put a gun to his head like 3 times. She said she was just playing, but it's still a fucking...
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah.
There's a gun to your head. As someone that has some experience with guns and pulling them out
Listen,
and so forth.
we all know she wasn't playing. But it's Rob. Who puts a gun to Rob? Say, what the hell is Rob doing? What is Rob doing for you to pull the gun on Rob?
I mean, I guess Kylie got on the stand and said the Tiger told her that Black China cut his like arm, had like a 6-inch like gash on his arm with stitches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it turned into a bit of a mess, and ultimately she lost. And I remember even leading up to it, she went on Instagram and said, I had to give up 3 of my cars because my baby daddies don't give me child support.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tiger comes in and said, I have my kids Monday through Saturday, and I pay $40,000 for private school. Why would I pay child support? Then Rob comes in. I get my kids from Monday through Friday, and I pay $38,000 for school. Why would I pay child support? And because of this, people started to figure things out, and they realized that Black China only has her kids on Sundays. And the jokes just started. I'm like, must be so sad that Black China's kids can never have Chick-fil-A together.
Oh, wow, that is funny. But, on the good side of it,
Mm-hmm.
the kids ain't suffering. I'd rather like, because I don't remember her losing in cases where they get that time. So she had to probably agree to give up that time.
Right.
So
That's the whole point.
That's not a bad mother if she knows she's not capable of watching them, or she's moving too much.
Yeah.
So I can't fault her. I can't really fault her for being responsible.
Yeah.
Because some mothers out there will take the child support and still try to be themselves, and the kid is being raised by friends and family members that's not there, and they don't get to see the father. So the fact that she's like, well, I'm still I got to make this money somehow, just give me Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah. I mean, look, we had an interview scheduled with her. One of my interviewers was supposed to do it, and he waited at the hotel for like 2 hours, and she got into some big fight with her boyfriend at the time, and it ended up not happening, and then it's supposed to happen the next day, and then they got into some other fight at the club that night. Once again, it didn't happen. It's just like, it's honestly like, I remember when she got pregnant by Rob, I'm like, this is a rich man's worst nightmare to have Black China.
I don't really know. I don't think I've ever met her. I've seen her at like 24 Hour Fitness. So never really, never really like met her, Instagram personalities are Instagram personalities.
Right. Well, your kid's mother, Laura Govan, actually defended Black China on TMZ.
Okay.
And she said, I know her. I went to her baby shower, and, I know the Kardashians a little bit, but, she deserves her own show. There's, that type of thing. That surprised you, though?
No.
No?
No.
Birds of a feather?
Yeah. But that's what I said. I don't really know Black China. We live down the street from each other.
Really?
Yeah. Live down the street from each other. Never really, I've never seen her. That's what I said. I've seen her 24 hours. So I can't tell you what her real personality is like. Because, when someone's on TV, that's their TV personality. So it's like really hard. She seemed nice from just glancing at her. Listen, I mean, she has her mom. They have reality TV personality. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, her
I don't
mom
know.
got kicked out of the trial at one point.
Yes, so I don't know why they wouldn't have a TV. Like the shit you guys put on TV, they're entertaining. They should have their own show.
Yeah, I mean, that only really works. I mean, that only really works when the person is kind of responsible and will show up and, follow the overall rules that are laid out and so forth. When the person just goes off the deep end and can't be reached, and like
record
it.
record, hit record. I mean, like the stuff we see is the best stuff is unscripted. So I guess this will be the first time that I will ever agree with anything my ex says. I agree. She probably needs her own TV show. Like, as I said, she looks like that's.
Yeah.
she seemed fun to me on TV. Like when you see her on TV, her and her mother, they seem like they're characters, like enough to be like, I will watch it. Like shit's gonna happen.
I think, I mean, now that you say it, actually, we were supposed to interview her mom at one point, and she showed up like 3 hours late. And then, like, before she sat down, she started screaming at my staff, saying, I'm going to need like $50,000 for this tell-all interview. And she's like, fuck VladTV, and stormed out. And that was pretty much the end of it. Was just like, what the fuck? Yes, we've been recording it. Actually, it would have been kind of entertaining.
Perfect.
I don't know, man. There's a bit of crazy. I mean, sometimes crazy is not just for TV. Sometimes crazy is just crazy. Certain people, I think, are just kind of crazy. If you cut the father of your child, a 6-inch gash on their arm, that's crazy. You put a gun to someone's head. But that's crazy.
Yes, but now you
loaded or not. Like you and I both have guns. Have you ever put a gun to someone's head just as a play, just to play around?
No. But that's why it needs to be on TV. Because what do you think Rob said to get a gun? What can it's Rob. Rob is like a teddy bear. What would he possibly have said? No. Do this for me. No. Gun. Like that's hilarious. That would be hilarious. Like all he said was no. Like that's why I said it's one of those things where film it and then see what happens.
Well, listen, I've always
so I want to see now.
You want to see it more, right?
Now I want to see season 1 and see what it looked like.
All right. Well, listen, I've always said this: crazy is undefeated. Crazy is 1,000-0. You will not beat crazy.
Mm-mm.
There's no way. You think you've won, and crazy will pull a victory out of that situation. And you will take that L, ultimately. That's why I've had, a number of crazy women through the course of my life. When I look back, I say, my God, I'm glad they never got pregnant. My God. Yeah. Oh, my God. Some of the stuff I've heard about one of my exes, insane.
You dodged a bullet on that one,
Insane. Let me tell you, fuck it, I'll put the story out here. We had a house together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The relationship didn't work out. We sold the house. Maybe, I don't know, a year in, right? I get a call from this woman a couple of years ago. I mean, this was 20 years back, right? 20 years ago, we bought a house together. The relationship didn't work out. We sold the house. 20 years later, I get a call from this woman who lives in the same house that bought the house a couple owners later. She's saying, first, my ex tried to file paperwork to say the house was hers. Right? When that didn't work, because the couple were both lawyers, they're like, this is all bullshit, whatever. She showed up at the house and tried to walk in like it was hers. They had to chase her away. This is the type of crazy I've dealt with in my life.
20 years later?
20 years later.
Jeez.
Like, yo, she walked in.
She probably did it with every owner.
Maybe. That was just the one phone call I get.
Just one phone call.
I have dealt with crazy in my life.
Yeah.
And it's, a crazy female, whew, man, it's
a crazy human.
A crazy human.
A crazy human.
Yes. Yeah. But a female, because, you have a certain type of relationship with a female that you don't have with a man.
Yeah.
So, you're intimate with them. There's certain connections that you don't have, what I'm saying, with a man that you do with a woman. So it's kind of like, I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know how it is. I mean, Matt Barnes knows how it is. I mean, we went to his whole story.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been there.
I guess the whole Kim K sex tape coming back out. You heard about all this?
There's another one?
Apparently there was another one. Kanye allegedly bought it and gave it back to her. She was all in tears on the new Hulu show when she got it. And Ray J did this whole thing where he was like, yo, like, I didn't have any other sex tapes with her and everything else like that. Like, why are you dragging my name into this? What's kind of coming out is that the Ray J tape was not the only sex tape. There was other sex tapes. I mean, clearly she was sexually active before Ray J or after Ray J.
But it
seemed like there were some recordings along the way.
But those men probably wasn't famous.
I can't. I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, okay.
but whatever. But I think what's interesting to me about this whole situation is Kim has always painted her as being such a victim when it came to the sex tape, right? Like, oh, I can't believe, my son saw some screenshot and, he's going to see this whole sex tape thing and it's 20 years ago and I can't believe it's still haunting me. And it's always been presented as the tape was leaked, it was out of her control and so forth. But I actually interviewed the president of Vivid Entertainment, and he broke the whole thing down to me. I mean, essentially, in the beginning, the tape was brought to them. And then when they started to do their due diligence, they realized that they didn't have signatures from both sides. When you put out a pornographic tape, you have to have everyone's signature. And you have to have everyone's driver's license to make sure everyone's over 18. No real company will ever put out a sex tape on anyone without all the proper paperwork, because it'll finish them.
Yeah.
It'll completely destroy the company. And he said that after months of negotiation with Kim and her family, which I assume was her mom, she was given millions of dollars before that tape ever got released.
It was brought to us by a third party. Felt like the proper paperwork that we needed was in place. That came along with it. Now that ultimately wasn't the case, but we went out there and said, look, we feel comfortable releasing this movie. Ultimately, we were able to have a conversation with Kim after much back and forth and lots of legal stuff going on. But ultimately, she agreed to allow us to put out the tape. We paid her several $1 million. It was an amazing investment for us. And I think it worked out pretty good for her as well. But ultimately, yes, we need to get an agreement.
Makes sense.
There was no leak. There was no like foul play. She decided to sign that contract and take those millions of dollars and spend that money, knowing that at one point she might have children. She'll probably will have children, and she's going to get older, and this is not going away. And the tape has done very well for Vivid and so forth, and she's gotten royalties off of it. But like the whole victim thing is very interesting because she signed on.
The family was created off of the sex tape.
100%.
Do they regret it? No. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Why would you regret it? Because if you get rid of that sex tape, you get rid of you. You guys. All of you guys. So it doesn't matter how you started it. It's where you at now. So I think the whole image, just the rebranding of it was painted of it was leak. I'm a victim. I didn't do this. I didn't mean that. That's just the image that was portrayed, to make it not seem the way it is. Like, hey, we wanted to start. I wanted to be famous, and look where we are. Fuck off.
Yeah, like we're billionaires.
Now. But Kim doesn't have that personality to come out and say anything. Chloe doesn't have that personality to come out. Deersnick will say, shit, yeah. That's me. What's happening? Made that tape, worth billions, shut the fuck up. Kanye would do something like that.
Well, Kanye's rapped about it.
Yeah, so it's, they just don't, the decisions they made worked in their favor. It did. So we can't pretend that it didn't. It worked in their favor. There's hundreds of people who's tried it, didn't work. It worked in their favor. So there's nothing to be like shameful about it. You became billionaires. Like, because of your sacrifice or your decision-making. That signature made your mother rich, made you rich, made your sister rich, made your brothers rich, made your little two sisters rich. Like, you built the whole... If there's another one out there, who gives a fuck, to be honest? It could be 20 out there. Ain't no one gonna give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me, it's just...
Do I want to watch it? I don't want to watch you when you're 20. I want to watch one now of you, like now. This Kim, I don't give a fuck about the old Kim.
Yeah, I mean, it just always kind of rubbed me kind of weird where, like, for example, when Kim ended up posing in Playboy, her mom was there taking behind the scenes photos and everything. It's just like, can you imagine, like, taking behind the scenes nude photos of your kids? Like,
it's a woman.
Like, I mean, of your male. I mean, you have
sons.
You have sons and daughters.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do you really want to see your son naked and take pictures of him? Like, Isn't that kind of just icky? Like just on a certain level, like
Women and daughters, like I don't have that. I don't know how that. Their brains work different, you know. So you don't. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like even in like women locker rooms, they walk around naked. Men usually hold their junk. You know what I mean.
I suppose, man.
That's what I said. It's hard for me to answer because it's women.
Well, speaking of that, Bad Baby actually posted up her OnlyFans revenue numbers. You know who Bad Baby is, right?
Yeah.
She grossed over $50 million.
So is that
on
real?
OnlyFans. Yes, it appears real. She actually showed the actual screenshot.
Yeah, I know what she did. But she's already, when she was little, she got in trouble for faking stuff. That was part of her little trouble teen.
Catch Me Outside.
Yeah, that was probably her little teen where she was faking documents and stuff. So this is a real thing?
It appears real, man. Like based on the video that I saw and the way she was like swiping up and everything else like that, it looked actually legit. And the thing is, it grossed $50 million and she made $40 million.
Why was she on the tax?
Well, because OnlyFans takes a cut.
Okay, so
So
then
they take
after
20%.
California taxes, she's probably left with like 25.
Yeah, 25. She bought and the thing is, this whole conversation started because it was revealed that she bought a house in Florida for $6 million in cash.
Oh.
And people were like, oh, you ain't got no money, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I made $50 million on OnlyFans. Oh, you lied. Like, oh, really? Here you go.
Good for her. Shit.
40 million. I mean, think about it. Okay, you take 40 million.
What was she doing on OnlyFans? She can't,
it's OnlyFans. She can do whatever she wants.
I'm pretty sure
right?
she didn't even get naked for that.
Probably partially naked. I mean, it's the whole thing is
because there's
creepy.
no news that ever been leaked on her. So that means like stuff, because OnlyFans, people are going to screen record.
Right.
So the fact that there's nothing on the internet that has her being fully naked.
I think it's kind of like a pervy thing where she just turned 18 and dudes have been following her when she was underage. So when she turned 18, like people want to see, like, to me, it's kind of a little creepy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But.
And it's that age group.
$50 million. What's that?
50 million. Yeah.
Hey, what I'm saying is like, let's just say 40 million, cut that in half. 20 million after taxes. You bought a house for 6 million. You got 14 million left. Cash, tax-free. You throw that in the S&P 500, you could live a great life for the rest of your life without having to do anything else. 14 million will last you the rest of your life.
But she's 18.
Yeah.
18 has to be 18 has to be 18. But the fact that she ain't been you got to really say something about her character, because if she ain't been bragging about it before she got called out, it kind of says something different. You know what I mean? It don't seem like she's going to be a wild mid-teen getting ready to be an adult, because someone who makes $54 million, $40 million in 1 year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, because she just turned 18.
Yeah, buys a $6 million house. They would have been all on internet bragging the fuck out of that.
Yeah, she wasn't. It was actually revealed by outside media.
Yeah, so good for her.
That's a lot of money, man. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Might want to show some titties myself. half a tit or half a belly button.
Dave Chappelle got tackled last night when he was performing. Does that surprise you at all?
For a Dave concert, no. But this was like the
Hollywood Bowl, I think.
This Hollywood Bowl where a whole bunch of different comedians was going up. They're doing that. Is that Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix is a joke. Yeah, Chris Rock was there. I think Jamie Foxx was there.
So everyone's just doing their specials?
Something like that. Something like that.
It's Hollywood, one thing we got out of it, do not go after Dave.
That guy got stomped out.
Yeah, he dislocated shoulder, broken arm or something like that, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
he got stomped out, which, I'm sure he prepared himself for when doing some show.
No one prepares for that
for stomping that bad.
You prepare, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the fuck out of there. You catch me in the back and just whoop my ass. That is like, I'm sorry.
This kind of comes off the heels of the Will Smith, Chris Rock. This is like the second comedian who's been assaulted on stage in a few weeks. Number one, do you know Will Smith or Chris Rock?
I met Will Smith, never Chris Rock.
Okay. When you saw that slap, what'd you think?
Fake.
You thought it was fake?
Fake.
You still think it's fake?
I still think it's fake.
Really?
I still think it's fake.
Well, I know somebody who's very close to Chris Rock, is a close friend, and they've had multiple conversations with Chris after this happened, and it wasn't fake. Why would you say it's fake?
One, you're talking about two guys who were close. They're black comedians that grew up in the same era. They've know how Hollywood is.
I mean, Chris Rock has been on the Fresh Prince and stuff like that. Yeah.
So Chris Rock has done jokes before. Will Smith has heard worse about his family, and it never bothers him. Never. Like, for a guy who's heard everything from Tupac to whatever, nothing. Because he's ultimate alpha. Like, he seems secure with himself. Just who he is as a man. Forget the...
He was ultimate alpha until the entanglement stuff started coming out.
I'm not believing that entanglement.
I don't know. You can't be the alpha while this guy who you're going on vacation with is fucking your wife. Like, I mean, that's not
so I guess we're believing that he didn't know.
I think he did know, and that's what brings the alpha down a bit.
But I mean, does it? I mean, like that's what I said.
I'll tell you a story off camera.
No, what I'm saying. Okay,
which will change your opinion.
So I asked this. Like, we've heard about they had this open relationship back in the '90s. I heard about it when I was little.
Right.
Right, whenever it happened, early 2000s, we all heard about it. This was the first time it was exposed. It was the first time someone actually came out and said something. That's when it was like, oh no, this is a entanglement. This is entanglement. Will didn't know. I'm going to tell Will for the first time. I don't take that as a grain of salt. I just feel there's only one truth, and I think it's the boys. Will knew. They did it. Everything was fine. Okay, cool. So all jokes that has to do with Augustine does not actually fade Will. So to watch it, this is your first Oscar, all black audience, Will Smith himself, Prestige, go up there and slap another Prestige man.
So you think that Chris Rock said, hey, I'm going to agree to let you slap me on international television in front of the whole world and just take it and, finish off my little job and walk off stage in ridicule. You think
who got penalized here for it? What
really
happened?
Nobody got penalized.
Exactly.
Will Smith got banned from the ceremony for 10 years, but could still get nominated and could still win. So really, he just can't go to the show.
Which he got banned for, which he boycotted a few years ago.
Yeah, him and Jada were boycotting.
Yeah, so
until he was nominated, then the boycott stopped. Oh, okay.
So it's one of these things is who got penalized? No one. He got his award. His first Oscar was the best show on earth. The best show on earth. Goes up, slaps the shit out of somebody, wins an Oscar, after partying and shit. Like, it was the best. Like, when you say, what was the best Oscar award? He can basically say mine's.
That's great.
Mine is the best. What did Chris Rock? Chris Rock is a victim. He sold out everywhere he goes, just so people can think about hearing that joke. Now, Table Talk blows up. Red Table Talk blows up because now, if they can ever do an interview with Chris Rock, that's going to be the most watched interview in history.
Yeah, I mean, when Dave Chappelle got attacked, I guess Chris Rock got on the mic and said, "So was that Will Smith that did that?" Like,
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So it just don't seem like these two are too smart.
I don't think that was planned. I don't think that everyone was
Like,
in on it.
just-
I do not think so. I just do not think so. I think he got legitimately slapped, and I think that it bothers him.
Watch it again, right? No element seemed natural. Chris Rock gets slapped. Boom. You've been slapped before, right?
Yes.
What's the first thing you do? Right? One of these, you start doing it.
Your cheek is all red.
Yeah, you're gonna at least like grab or something. Like, no, nothing. Just boom, just Leatherface, just straight Leatherface with it, right? Just like, come on, I've been hit before, and it's like, oh wait, hold on, like you gonna try to get that sting out of there? Nothing. Then as the slapper, you slap a man, and then you just turn your back on him, like, no.
Well,
'Cause the natural-
there's a big size difference here.
But
like if The Rock had said a joke like that, Will Smith would have sat in his chair and did nothing.
But what I'm saying is,
I mean, Chris Rock is what, maybe 5'5", 130 pounds. Like, he's a little guy.
But natural instinct didn't even kick in for Will. You slapped this man, turned around. You didn't look back to see if he was coming. You didn't see if he was going to throw the mic at. You don't like you're going to slap somebody. You're going to stand there like what? Say something else. Say something else. And then all your lines are going to be right there. Like, you have to put yourself in natural reality, right? I slap you, and I'm going to stand like, what? Say it again.
Yeah,
and you're like, I didn't mean it.
You're in the Oscars. Like, you know what I mean?
You're not going to walk back to your seat and then you got to remember, the only reason that we thought it was real is because he yells the second time.
Keep my mouse name out your fucking mouth.
If Will Smith don't say anything, everyone's like, oh, that was fake. The only reason we thought it was real, the only reason that what makes it real? Him yelling. Him yelling was the only thing that makes it real. Like, oh, wait, was that real? Okay. Like, other than that, he goes up there, you slap him, everybody's giggling. He goes back down, sits down, everybody's like, Will Smith just slapped me. Oh, that was part of the joke. Let's go. And then Will, out of nowhere, said, keep my name. Like,
my wife's name. Yeah.
Before that,
we can agree to disagree, man.
But that's just it. Before
we can
that,
agree
it
to
was,
disagree. I can tell you that everything I've heard, and I know people around this situation, this is what I do for a living, there was no indication it was fake on any level.
But nobody would know if it was just them two in on it.
I mean, would you agree to get slapped on national television like that? You being a multimillionaire, would you agree to just be humiliated like that? Would you?
But I mean,
would you?
I don't know.
Answer this question. Really?
So.
I can tell you my answer is no.
I don't think so.
If someone say, "Hey, listen,"
if someone come up and slap you, you're gonna have a reaction because you're getting humiliated either way.
Well. Okay. So let me tell you a story I've never told before. I had a situation where I got slapped. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story. I never told this before on camera. So me and my girlfriend at the time, I was in my early 20s. We go to this really high-end like bar on top of like the Mandarin or something in San Francisco, right? We're all dressed up. I got a suit on. She got her nice clothes on. We're there with a couple friends and so forth. So we're hanging out. Everyone's feeling good. She's like, oh, can you give me some drinks? I'm like, cool. I go to the bar, now I'm looking fly, feeling myself, right? And there was this girl, this small Asian girl, right, at the bar also. She's drinking. And she was like, she motions to me. She was like, I like the way you look. And I said, thank you. And she smacked the shit out of me. Just slapped me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a girl sitting nearby who kind of smiled a little bit because I guess she assumed that some fuck shit happened. But literally that was the conversation. And she slapped me. And I was in such shock. And we were at a high-end place. And she's a female. That I basically just walked back to the table, told my girl what had happened.
You didn't rub your face though?
I mean, I probably rubbed my face, but I'm like, I kind of can't do anything. Like, what am I supposed to do? Beat up this Asian girl, like in front of everybody? I'll get arrested. Like, I'll go to jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if she threw the first hit. It's like, she's a female. I'm a male. I just got slapped. I'm not sure why. I didn't see it coming. Somewhat of a similar situation, if you think about it. And I had to just, wasn't going to argue with her. Like, I was like, fuck it. Let me just take my L and walk back.
But like, even like that, you walk up, what would you be expecting when he walks up?
I mean, I think Chris was smiling. I thought he was like, oh, he's going to like do a little Kanye moment.
Yeah,
Like,
is that really what we thought? Like he was gonna do a Kanye like that's what I said. When I seen it, I looked at it, slap, fake, click. And then the more I looked at it, I'm like, I'm just looking for natural. So if it comes out as real, then I mean you have to give Chris Rock his credit.
Yeah, for being a professional.
Because I mean, you know, he saved Black humanity. Because anybody else, they would have tore that motherfucking Oscars up. But at the end of the day,
Jumped on his back as he's walking away.
Like it's Chris Rock, but you gotta remember, Chris Rock could have did that and everybody would have been laughing. It's Chris Rock. Like, that's what I said. Like, it was the most watched.
I would have probably ran behind and pushed him down those
It was
stairs.
the most watched, most viewed.
Well, it's the biggest Oscar moment of all time, if you really think about it.
And
you know,
that's why I say,
you think it's fake?
Will Smith, after all this time, out of all these snubs you've ever had, you're gonna go down as basically the best Oscar viewing ever.
Well, you know what wasn't fake is when Mike Tyson punched that dude on the plane. Now that right there was not staged. Or do you think that was staged too?
I don't know. I seen it, but like it was one of those things where. But even Mike.
Did you see that dude's face afterwards? He was all bloody and everything.
Yeah, I seen it.
That was not fake blood.
Mike's been talked about his whole life, aggravated his whole life. People have done this whole life to Mike.
All right.
Like that, like when it comes to like boxers like that,
Mike has a temper. Okay.
Yeah, but
Mike has a temper. In fact, when we interviewed him, being Zab Judah did an interview with Mike Tyson, he talked about that. Remember once, the whole rape thing, once he got out of prison, someone ended up rear-ending his car and he got out and beat the dude up. They had to go back to jail again.
Oh, that's
over that shit. Yeah, people forget about that story. But I remember my personal experience with Mike was, Zab Judah did the interview with Mike, but then I asked if I could come and ask a few questions afterwards, and Mike was like, cool. Me and Mike were hanging out before. He was telling me about how he likes some of my interviews and everything, so we had a bit of a rapport. I'm feeling kind of comfortable. And I'm talking to Mike, and you got to understand where we are. We're at his gym inside of the boxing ring, right? So, and we're sitting about as far as me and you are in chairs inside the boxing ring. I have, armed security, but he's outside the ring, right? This is just me and Mike face to face. So I'm talking to Mike and, it's all cool, real cool conversation. And I'm like, Mike talks about these street guys that he really fucks with, like, Von Zip and so forth and so forth. So I was like, well, Mike, how is it that you, being a multimillionaire, has always been kind of like attracted to these street guys? Mike was like, what do you mean attracted? Here you are, this multimillionaire, and, it seems like you've always been attracted to the guys that are still in the streets to a certain degree. Do you think that's a fair statement?
You think I'm attracted to them?
Well, not attracted to them, but I mean, you like having them around. You're friends with them and you maintain
I like
this.
having them around?
I'm just asking.
You think I'm friends? What do you think? You think I like having them around?
And there was just that moment. There was that moment of actual real fear where I'm like, shit, I probably should not have used that term. There's so many other words I could have used except for that. And here I am. And you could see him, he's getting kind of a little angry, right? And I'm like, my security ain't gonna make it in time. He's gonna get in, he's gonna get a few in. And you and I, somewhat of a similar age, like we grew up with Mike Tyson being the baddest man, period. This is the dude that come in, knock you out in 32 seconds and go and chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like later on, he started to lose, but still, like we still remember that crazy, like, that to us has been, to me, that was like the toughest man in the world, like Mike Tyson, the most fearsome guy. So here I am with him and I'm like going like, all right. And I managed to like sort of, that's not what I meant. I was just meaning that, you really spoke highly of this dude, whatever. And Mike kind of snapped out of it and we went back and did the rest of our interview. But I'm like thinking, I'm watching this video and I'm like, what sane person would keep aggravating Mike like over and over again? The guy kept fucking with him. They kept like, rah, 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 all up in his ear. Like
somebody who wants to who's trying to go viral. Who knows? That's why I said like stuff like I look at it like he's playing to the camera. So it's like, did he tell his friend, yo, put the camera on? Like you see the guy messing with the camera, then going. So it's like,
Well, he filed a lawsuit.
Who, Mike?
No, the guy who got beat up. He's suing Mike.
Didn't he hit Mike first?
No, I think he threw some water on him or something.
Okay, same thing.
I think it's bullshit. I think that, he kept aggravating him.
But that should be like, there's like certain like loopholes in law that just causes for stuff like this. Like if you are the aggravator, you cannot sue. You're just going to lose. It's just like being rear-ended. The person who rear-ends you, he can't win.
Yeah, they're always at fault.
They're always at fault.
Doesn't matter if you slammed on your brakes or whatever.
They're always at fault.
Their fault, yeah.
So same thing with this. You aggravating him, you're doing it for a reason.
Right.
Whatever that reason.
Except that aggravation is not against the law. Putting hands on somebody is. Like for example, like there's the situation with the baby. I don't know if you followed it, but there's this old guy who got beat up by the baby's security or whatever, because like he was telling them to get off his property and they were shooting a music video or whatever. But more video got released where this guy was like really racist and calling everyone the N-word, like old white guy. He was like, the N-word with the hard R and everything else like that. And it's like, like this guy deserves to get fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. It's understandable that someone will whoop his ass for saying some shit like that. But in the eyes of the law, actually, you can't beat someone up for saying racial slurs. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
I know
there's
law,
public opinion and there's actual law.
And that's the sad part about the law itself, because you're handicapping anyone. You're handicapping just racists themselves.
I agree.
So
Does
he
deserve to get his ass kicked? Absolutely.
So what happens to police?
See,
then this should apply for police officers too.
Meaning?
So if I stand in front of police, you pig, you probably want some donuts, pig, and they hit me and touch me, we can't sue them.
Yes, you can actually.
No, you can't.
Yeah, people have sued the police and won
after they died.
Not even when they died. When they
I want to die.
Tupac. Okay, here we go. Tupac sued the police for beating him up and won. I interviewed his brother Mopri. Actual thing. Real.
But that's usually the average
cops beat him up. I mean, there's pictures of him. He was fucked up.
The average person.
Tupac was essentially an average person back then. This was before he blew up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, this was not Tupac. All eyes on me. This is like.
So
Tupac,
how did he win that case?
He showed pictures and proved that the cops beat him up
for no reason.
For no reason, essentially, and he won. He got like a settlement. I think it was maybe $20,000-$30,000. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was something, for the time. Yeah, police can't just go. I mean, this is why police try to turn off their body cams and stuff like that when they do all the fuck shit. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Does he deserve to get his ass kicked? Absolutely. But the baby is a multimillionaire.
But is it him that's doing it?
It was. I think they're saying it was his security, so therefore it's his responsibility.
Not really. No, my security's a grown ass man. It's his responsibility to keep his hands to himself.
It doesn't really work that way when you employ people.
But it should work that way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it should work that way. And there's a difference between the public opinion and the law. The law and public opinion. I mean, this is why, for example, you watch the whole thing with Tory and Meghan play out in the media, right? Where, Tory tries to put out all the stuff about her, and then she goes and does the interview with Gayle King.
Which is horrible.
It's not a good idea.
That was just a bad move.
Right. Because the thing is, they're trying to get the public behind them. But when it goes to court, all that shit doesn't matter.
It's just pure facts.
It's just pure facts. Who shot you? Can we prove that he shot you? If the answer is yes, does it matter that you lied about having sex with him? No, it doesn't matter.
And that, it's so funny. Credibility, which everyone knows they was having sex.
Right.
The fact that you went on record and said, in public record, you said you did not, lets the court know
you're a liar.
You're a liar. We can't trust anything that comes out your mouth.
And that's what happens, because I've been in enough trials on both sides to know that, like, if a person is caught lying on the stand,
Mm-hmm.
the judge will instruct the jury to say, you do not have to listen to anything else this person says because it's established that he or she is a liar. So if they're lying about this, there's a reasonable chance they're lying about everything else.
Yeah.
You can essentially disregard the whole thing.
Yeah. And so she's going to, like, if she goes up and if I'm the prosecutor, I'm going to ask her, so did you and Tori actually have sex?
Well, it's not the prosecutor, it'd be the defense.
The defense, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah, so did you and Tori have, I want her to say no now.
Yeah.
I want her to say, because most likely he has text messages and videos and pictures and shit.
Right.
Like, so.
Well, there is a picture of him like behind her. And
yeah,
shit
so,
like
but
that,
I'm just
like-
saying like personal.
Yeah, right.
I mean personal stuff.
Personal shit.
You know, so like that would be the first question I ask
And just dig into that.
and just dig into it, you know, and just make now her Gail interview look bad. You know, so
She
it's,
shouldn't have done it.
No.
She shouldn't have done it. And in fact, when I was dealing with lawyers, the first thing my lawyer told me was like, do not talk to anyone, do not talk to the media, like stop doing interviews about the shit, period. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of people don't listen. And then that's exhibit A.
yeah.
You know what
I mean, I just think that was a bad one. But, you know, like at this point, everything favors Tory.
The public does.
Here's why. The public already crucified him. See, so he already got penalized. So what ends up happening is 2 years ago, he got penalized for this. You can't penalize him again. So if she's found innocent, you can't penalize him again. You already did it. You already took his music. You already did all of that. So now here's just the result. He's already bounced back and came back and changed, and he's back doing what he does. So if you say, oh, he's guilty, he did shoot her, everybody's like, we already knew that.
Well,
If he's innocent, he blows.
he blows up, right?
She goes down
Exactly.
for at least 2 years.
Right. But if he's found guilty in a court of law, he's going to probably do prison time. Shooting somebody? Yeah.
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 But, I mean,
Yeah. You're going to do some time. Which is why he probably hasn't pled out to some lower charge and taken.
because I don't think they have any
community service.
evidence that he's actually.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's one of those. Like,
We're going to see.
I paid attention to it 2 years ago.
Right.
At this point, it's like, eh.
Well, then there's the ASAP Rocky shooting situation.
What?
You know about that?
No.
Wait, this didn't hit your radar?
I know he got arrested.
ASAP Rocky is being charged with assault with a deadly weapon for shooting at another guy in the ASAP crew and I guess grazing the guy's hand. When he got off the plane coming back from Barbados with Rihanna, he was arrested. His house, you know, police raided his house, you know, kicked down his door, whatever. They found a couple guns, none of which matched up with the gun in the incident. But apparently what the police are saying now is they have a video of the whole incident.
That they were getting in an argument and he shot his friend?
Yeah.
Before he went to Barbados?
Yeah, it was like last year.
Oh, last year?
Yeah, 2021. Like December of 2021. Something.
Did the guy try to prosecute
The
them?
guy is cooperating with the police
Now.
now.
Before, so there was no incident report.
I'm not quite sure what led up to this, but the guy is cooperating and apparently they have a video.
Huh.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about it is that like clout chasing doesn't just apply to like criminals or social media stars or entertainers. The police and the feds clout chase just like everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so much more exciting when you arrest Rihanna's, you know, boyfriend / you know, baby father
Uh-huh.
than ASAP Rocky, the rapper that had some hits, you know, some years back.
Yeah, get off that Barbados private plane and
Getting off, you know, I mean, you have one of the most famous and richest women on earth pregnant with your child, her, you know, the first child. That's international news.
mm-hmm.
ASAP Rocky, the rapper, getting arrested with no Rihanna in the situation, that's local national news. And you know something? They're clout chasing just like everything else.
Of course. I mean, you know, just like, you know, back when you look at old drug busts, that one cop that wants to be in the front newspaper. Like, yes, everybody wants their credit. They want to move up. They want to move up in ranking and chain. And, you know, so of course that big arrest, taking the picture, I mean, it's part of work, I guess.
Yeah.
We all want to try to move up, I guess.
I mean, you've gotten situations with the police here and there.
Yeah, but mine are goofies type of.
Yeah, but do you think that the police kind of like, oh, this is Gilbert Arenas? We're
Oh,
gonna,
no,
we're
no,
gonna
no,
go
no,
extra
no.
hard.
Oh, no.
See what I'm saying?
My arrest, my only arrest in California, when it was the firework charge, and I got pulled over because I was high. I had the high beams on was it CHP? So CHP is that
California Highway Patrol?
Yeah. So they pulled me over, high beams, and very honest. It was like, oh, what's in the back? Oh, those are fireworks. What are they for? Fireworks show? I mean, it's about to be 4th of July. Then I showed my receipts and, showed them, I bought them. And he was like, well, in the state of California, anything that goes up in the air is illegal. And I was like, well, actually, that's cap because, or back then, that's wrong because bottle rockets go up in the air and they sell those here. So I'm like, yeah, so that is. He's like, well, you're not allowed to have them. So it's a normal conversation. You're not allowed to have them, so we're going to have to have bomb squad come and get them. I was like, really? I can just go throw them away or we can put them in your car. You can
have them.
Oh yeah, or we can take it to the precinct. You can just take them, whatever. I mean, you don't need the bomb squad to wake up and do all that. It's just over. He's like, well, that's the only way we can get them out of here. I'm like, all right. There was like, but he started off, you have any drugs in here? You have any weed? Like, swear to God, the first 10 questions, 8 were about drugs and weed. And I said, like, yo, what is wrong with you? You're a crackhead? Do you want to check my car? That, like, if you see the video and I'm out of the car, that's the reason I'm out of the car, because they're checking. Like, because he's just asking about drugs. I'm like, yo, just check the goddamn car. I don't have no drugs in there. Like, and I'm just thinking, like, what kind of officer just asked about drugs the whole time? And then eventually, like, we're talking about basketball and all that stuff. And then I just see, like, like, it was TMZ, like one of those guys got his camera. As soon as he set it up, the guy was like, oh, can you please stand? You're being arrested.
For the camera.
Yep. And then I was like, and I said, yo, you're a prick. Since you want to be a prick, I'm going to show you what kind of power I have. Most likely you're taking me to Van Nuys courtroom. Most of my high school friends work there. I said, you're going to be putting so much paperwork, I'm going to be out within 5 minutes. Well, we'll see. We got there. What's up? Right? What's up? And it was like, they asked him, like, what are we here for? It was like, and they gave him the code. The guy was like, bomb? He was like, fireworks. He was like, fireworks. He was like, well, firework code is this. He was like, well, no, you can use he's like, the bomb squad said you can use this. He was like, dude, it's fireworks, dude. It's fireworks. About to be 4th of July. If we're going to go through, you can knock on everyone's door and arrest everyone who's getting ready for fireworks. No, it's a firework thing. So I was like, hey, guy, do your little paperwork. I'm out of here. Right? Paid $50, got the fuck out.
Well, listen, I interviewed John Sally. After winning the NBA Finals in Chicago, he got arrested and cuffed for tinted windows.
Wow.
He thought it was a joke too. He gets pulled over, like, windows tinted. Okay, cool, fix the ticket. No, so we're going to have to arrest you. Like,
what?
John Sally, NBA Finals, the Bulls, but sorry. Please, you have the right to remain silent. And he literally got handcuffed, taken to the precinct. And when he got there, they were like, the chief of police was like, what are you doing?
When I get in there and the sergeant sees what he's done, he said, what did you do? He goes, you got smoke windows on his car. And I just won the championship 2 days earlier.
It's crazy.
And they apologized. And first thing everybody else did, seeing me get arrested, called all the news channels.
Like this is it.
Tinted windows.
Yeah, sometimes cops just like,
John Sally's obviously like, this is not just a regular guy. This is a fucking 7-footer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly this is somebody, even if you don't know who he is yourself. It's a quick Google search.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a fix-it ticket. Just give the ticket the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I've gotten tinted window fix-it tickets.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like,
it's a fix-it ticket.
Worst case scenario, if you really think, check the car. If there's nothing in there, put it back in the car.
Car's not stolen.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, what am I arresting and doing all this extra shit for? It's just, sometimes it's overboard.
Recently, there was some paperwork that got leaked from the Supreme Court that Roe versus Wade may be overturned.
Who?
Roe versus Wade, abortion rights on a federal level.
Uh-huh.
You haven't heard about this yet?
Mm-mm.
Very big news.
I'm snipped. So I don't pay
Roe
attention
versus.
to stuff.
Oh, you got a vasectomy?
Yeah. I don't pay attention to stuff like that.
Well, apart from people like yourself, if they repeal this on a national level, that's going to leave it up to the states. Half the states have already signed up to ban abortion. This has been around since the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
when Roe versus Wade first passed. Does this at all worry you, that abortion will be illegal in like half the country?
Well, listen, I'm just going to be honest. Usually when you're rich, they're not having an abortion. They're having that child. They're having that. You know what I mean?
Unless you're paying it off, paying them off.
Yeah, the women have been smarter. They've been smarter.
Has anyone ever had an abortion for you?
No, miscarriage.
Miscarriage, but not an abortion.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They want that thing. They want that child support money. Like, come on, let's just be honest. Like the people who are probably affected by this, people who really can't afford kids and they really don't want to have kids. But the world I'm in, nah.
Right.
You can pay them $500,000.
Nah. Remember Tristan Thomas trying to pay off his side chick like $75,000?
Yeah, that's what I said.
She said, nah, I'm having it.
I'm
Here
having
we
it.
go.
I'm gonna take that $75,000 a month. Like, but that's what I said. So it depends on your circumstances for this rule to affect you.
Well, I mean, I'll say this. There's this really dope book that I read called The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. You know how you said the 10,000 hours?
Mm-hmm.
That came from that book.
Okay.
Right? And in the book, they basically talked about how in the late 80s, they saw a steep decline in crime. And they were trying to figure out where it came from. And they finally figured out that it was roughly about 15, 17 years after they legalized abortion. And suddenly you have all these children that were going to be born into bad situations, unwanted homes, teenage parents, people who have such a low income they couldn't afford children, and you take them out of the equation because of abortion. And suddenly the overall society benefits because you don't have all these children growing up in bad conditions.
Mm.
When you suddenly force people to have children, especially lower income people that can't travel 2 states over to get an abortion from California or whatever else, you're setting up just a bad situation all around with unwanted children and so forth. Listen, you have money, so you could have 10 more kids and they're fine. Mm-hmm. You know, Nick Cannon, none of his kids are going to be starving. Yeah. Like Boosie, who's a regular on my show, has like 9 kids and they're all fine. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But for someone who's making $30,000 a year.
Yeah, no. I like that's what I said. I said it depends on what circumstance you're in, you know, for this to affect you. But, you know, just like anything, there's a purpose on why they're trying to do it. You know, there's always a purpose. There's always a reason. And we're the last ones to know.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is pro-life. And during his term, he managed to get a bunch of judges in the Supreme Court who on record said that they're for Roe versus Wade. And now it seems like they're voting against it. It seems like they had an ulterior motive. It's sad. And all the women I know are fucking furious right now. Are furious about this shit.
Well, a lot of women that I know up above, they're like, hey, yeah. Woo woo. You know, that's what I said. You're going to have some people like,
sorry, baby, I can't get it.
It's illegal. It's illegal. So
I have to have it.
I got to have
it. I know we met a month ago. Yeah. I know I don't know you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
just, yeah, you know, it's how you feel personally.
The male birth control pill is apparently in clinical trials right now. Do you see dudes taking it?
Yeah.
You think?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
Fuck yeah.
This one comedian did a whole skit about it. He goes like, you know, hey, baby, let's not use condoms. I'm on the pill. You're on the pill, huh? Yeah. Fuck out of here. You don't even shower on time. I don't believe you. Put on a condom.
What's so funny is that right there might stop a lot of abortions and a lot of pregnancies because now men want to go raw anyway.
Yes.
So now they're going to be sitting there swallowing pills.
They're
going to be, watch, they're going to swallow them pills. Just having fun. They're gonna swallow them, have fun. And because a man trusts himself.
Oh yeah.
Just like when Drake was throwing the hot sauce in there. I trust myself to do the right thing
The hot
and
sauce
save
and
my
the condom.
and
Oh,
save
I
my money. You
forgot
gotta
about
remember,
that.
I'm saving my money.
Yeah.
So if I gotta take that pill to save some money, of course.
Would you have taken the male birth control pill if it was around back in the day? Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side effects, whatever.
I
don't know though, man.
What's the side effects?
No babies.
No, I ain't gotta pay this child support, or if I can lose half a liver, take half the liver.
I don't know. Like for example, but for years they've had like Truvada, right, which is the pill you take. They'll prevent HIV. Right. If you take a daily pill, you're like 99% protected against an HIV exposure. Nobody takes this shit. Nobody even knows about it. I've talked to porn stars about it. They don't even know about it. Like, women, men, doesn't matter.
But this is different. This is money. This is money. This is
As opposed to your life.
because you got to remember, this is something a man can control now. He can't control if his girl's on a pill. He can't control his girl to do the right thing if she has her little thing. He can control this.
Yeah.
So him popping that pill, trust me,
Yeah.
it's gonna be less. There's gonna be less babies. There's gonna be less babies when that pill is really.
I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree. Well, last but certainly least, after our last interview, you and Kwame Brown were going at it. I think you're still going at it. Yeah. You're not willing to to put this to rest.
It's a lion. I don't like liars.
Okay.
My problem was he gets mad at saying that he's still a top 3 pick, which top 3 means 1, 2, or 3. That's top 3. I didn't say 3. I said top 3 still. 1, 2, or 3, depending on the circumstances at that point. And he was like, well, you're taking my number 1 away from me. I didn't take it. I just said you're top 3 still. If we do it the way it's supposed to be done, we're top 3. Then he's like, you're jealous of me. Nigga, I'm not even in top 10. In my own story, I'm not top 10. I'm realistic.
They're doing a draft.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I'm telling the story, and I'm not even top 3. I'm top 10. I probably might break 10. That's realistic for me. And then it came to that. I was like, dude, just say you're still mad that I became who you supposed to be. And that's really the problem.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing surprised me a little bit because, okay, look, I brought him up in our last interview, right? And I said, certain players who are, number 1 picks sometimes don't live up to their expectations, like a Kwame Brown. And you actually defended him. You said, well, no, because at that time, based on his skill level and the overall picture, he was supposed to be where he was in that draft. You actually defended him.
Yeah.
If he was going to be mad at anyone, I assumed it was me for, maybe taking a little shot like that, but whatever. But he actually focused all his attention on you at that point. And I'm like, why is he mad at you when you were actually speaking highly of him to me? So and then he went in on me and I'm like, whatever. This is funny to me. I remember he did this Instagram post. He's like, why the hell are these VladTV videos showing up in my YouTube feed? And someone's like, because you're subscribed to his channel. That's why. Yeah. That's what happens. You're subscribed to someone's channel.
He has this group of followers that are just delusional as him.
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, they're just, I was like, I don't know how you get a group of people that just this ignorant, just as one. This is like just one group of just ignorant dum-dums. Like, how did you guys all meet? And my thing with him was, like, I know the reason you're mad. You're trying to pretend like I'm after you. Just face it. I was the 31 pick. You were the number 1 pick, right? You had a head start. I'm here. I'm the clown on the draft. Well, the Wizards paid the clown $65 million. Now the number 1 pick has to take orders from the clown. So when I get to Washington, I'm making $10 million. You're still on your rookie deal. We're not the same. We're not hanging out doing the same things. We're not hanging with the same people. We're not even what a JC. We're not even shooting at the same basket at this point, right? So I'm on every billboard in DC. Not you anymore. He lost his name to Jordan. Those 2 years under Jordan, it was Kwame Brown. I joke about it. I said it, but that's reality. Jordan picked you and he said, let me come down and make the city poppin'. Like, it wasn't Kwame Brown making the city pop. It was Michael Jordan who came down those first 2 years. And then from there, I came aboard. And then they put me on the billboard.
Yeah, I'd forgotten in our last interview that you actually were on the cover of NBA Live 08.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What he was supposed to have been for Washington is what I became. He got picked by Washington. He was supposed to be the future. And midway through his second or his going into his third year, they paid me. And then my smile, my charisma, my style, the city loved it. By our second year together, they're booing him. Get the fuck out of here. He blames me for it. I got the money. I got the fame. I got, like, if you like hear him rant, he's ranty. Well, he told the coach to bench me because he's in my way. I probably did. I've done that shit before. Get this motherfucker out of the game. Like, I've done it before, so I can't say I didn't do it.
You're trying to win it.
But as I said, I can't say I didn't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had posted, I remember I hit you about this. You had posted this video on your Instagram from Comedy Central. It took me a second to realize it was Comedy Central because it looked so real to begin with. And it was I guess a reverse draft. It was a skit that looked like an actual draft, but the draft was who gets stuck with Kwame Brown.
Yeah, so it was a free agency. So it's a free agency draft, 2011-12. It was after he finished in Charlotte, and they decided they were going to mock him. Like, you know how bad you have to be for someone to put that kind of production?
It was a real production.
It was real production.
It was like maybe about 7-8 actors in it. There were sets.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, they
spent some money on that.
And but he ended up going to Golden State. Played 6 games, horrible. And they didn't make the playoffs. It was like 13th. He just leaves and they're 6th. Just wherever he went, it was cancer. Let's just say that. It's just like, it was, like, I can be honest now. We're not friends. We can be honest. He was a fucking drunk, man. He was a fucking drunk. That's what Kwame Brown was.
Wait, he was drinking?
He was a drunk. Had a bad game, drunk. Had a good game, drunk. Was bored, drunk. Like, it's how he coped with life.
I mean, some people could pull that off. I mean, Dennis Rodman was a drunk, but
No, Dennis Rodman was a partier.
Different. He did drink a lot. I mean, he would show up to games hungover and stuff like that.
Hungover. From partying. He parties all night and play. Yes. Just drinking because, as soon as I leave practice, I'm drunk and I'm going to be drunk all day. I wake up by drunk. When he spazzed on everybody, drunk. He can't get in front of that camera sober. But I had to, like, during this fight, I had to ask players and, coaches and like, yo, was Kwame Brown that bad? Because everybody I've talked to, like, yo, I remember I was talking to someone the other day, 2 days ago, and we were talking about, like, just alcoholics. And I was like, man, your old teammate was alcoholic. I was like, you played with him? It was like, no. I walked past him a couple times, and just bad. So I called one of our, people back in Washington. I was like, yo, was Kwame that bad? And it was like, it was bad. It was bad because it's like, he didn't have anyone. So he drunk. He had a bad game, drunk even more. I was like, well, fuck, if he had a bad game, that motherfucker always had a bad game. So he was always drunk. But he's,
I mean,
he's a fucking alcoholic, man. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and bullshit with you. That's the reason.
That's the reason.
That's the reason he played 13 years but only made $66 million. Because they always undercutted him because they had the alcoholic. He's just fucking drunker. Just drunk, dude. Just stop blaming everybody else. You didn't work out. You didn't train on your game. You didn't, if I'd have had a double-double. Well, you didn't have a double-double in rebounds. You couldn't get 10 rebounds. You didn't need the ball to get 10 rebounds. You just go after it. 5, 6, and 0. That was your stats. 5 points, 6 rebounds, or was it 6, 5, 0? 0 assists. Under 1 assist. Dallenberg made $100-something million. Omeka 4. I mean, Tyson made 170 something. Like, people made hundreds of millions in your same, just in our draft alone. The people say, why is he a bust? He made 66 million. Well, 66 million is great 66 million is great for a 31 pick. If I made 66 million for my career, 63 million, I'm a fucking hero. If he made the money I made, he's still a flop. That's how far off he was. If he made what I made, he's still a flop. Because the average number one player from 2001 to 2017 made an average of $212 million in their career. The average number one pick. The average, like, there's some that's made 386. There's some that's in the 275s right now. There's some that still is going. The average, the bottom line is 212.
Well, I mean, the reality is with the two of you arguing, there's really not an argument about who's the better player. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
no.
The stats just so speak for themselves.
That's not even the argument.
That's not even the argument.
The argument is he's an alpha male and everybody else is beta males.
So he thinks you're a beta.
Yeah, I'm a beta.
Okay.
I'm the beta, but he's the one on the internet crying about everyone picking on him. Like, that's not how that works, bro. Like, alphas don't cry on the internet about getting picked on. You wake up every day crying. Like right now, every single day, him and YouTubers are fighting about them picking on him. Yeah, y'all can't stop saying my name. I'm old Busty Bus. Why everybody talking about a Busty Bus?
Yeah, I think he said something about me. He was like, oh, look at Vlad commenting about Kwame Brown. I'm like, well, yeah, why not? I mean, you talking about why I'm on your feed.
You pick. That's what I said. All he does is poke at everybody, and then when we respond, oh, you just talking about a bust. If I wasn't this, you wouldn't be like, yo, you stop. If you look, first of all, we didn't even remember you were still on this earth at this point. Like, you was irrelevant, bro. You was irrelevant. Two players that, we got to remember, everyone that talks about you knew you. The player, like Steven Jackson, played with you. I played with you. That's where the comments came from. It wasn't just some random person bringing your name up. Stephen A., he was sorry. He talks shit about everybody. He talks shit about me. I don't take it personal.
Yeah.
I don't take it personal. You take it personal because you don't want to face reality. Reality is this: you sucked. You're on YouTube now. You suck. Right? You sucked as a player. You got famous, 400-something thousand. You lost all of those people. You got 1,200 views, live views. 1,200 live views on a 400,000 sub. Says no one wants to listen to you live, bro. Yeah, shut the fuck up. All right, basically, just shut the fuck up. Move in a different direction, because this alpha male that cries about everything is not equaling up. Okay, it just does not equal up. You're fighting with a whole bunch of YouTubers that got 300 subs, 400 subs. I said, if you're gonna beef with motherfuckers, I got 5 million, 1 million, 2 million. Fucking people who got 300 fucking views, and you're fighting with them and you're losing. I started feeling bad. Like, yo, you need some help, motherfucker. Like, I'm an athlete, you're an athlete. We're not losing to YouTube. You're losing to YouTubers.
There you have it. We're going to end it with that.
Fucking
Gilbert Arenas.
That fucking loser, man.
Always a pleasure when you come in. You know, one of the most.
He's a fucking bottom line loser, man. I'm just going to say, yeah, he's going to rant. And who gives a fuck? No one listens. Like, he's called the police on me. He's filed the.
Wait, he's called the police on you? For what?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh,
recently?
Yeah.
For what?
We were, I went on this live, like someone said, yo, hit the link. So I hit the link. And he got his group of people up there because he can't talk by himself. So he needs a bunch of people, a bunch of other losers that have nothing. They don't know him, but they're part of Kwame gang, right? And they asked me, they said, what's your beef? Like, how's this going to end? I said, ask him. I said, won't you ask him? Hey, Kwame, what is the reason you're actually mad at me? Well, I'll tell you in person. I said, see, he doesn't want to answer. Well, I'll tell, when I see you, we'll tell you. Oh, open threat. All right. So I mumbled. I just want to put the pistol to his throat. Right? It was, I was singing Frenato by Chief Keef.
Okay.
One of his lines.
Yeah.
Right? The pistol to his throat. He then goes the next morning, files a police report on me.
Police show up at your house?
No. He filed it in Brunswick. Who the fuck is going to Brunswick, bro? But that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Wait. So he filed a police report, and then what? You got a call from the
No one's bothered. I didn't say anything. Like,
You're
I
wanted
know
in Brunswick right now.
He just does it. I say, yo, you look like a lame. You supposed to be this 7-foot guy that's supposed to be all strong and beat everybody up, and you're running to the police because I said something? Like, come on. Pick a side. Victim, tough guy. Victim, alpha. Pick one. You can't be both.
Can't be both.
You can't be both. And he just sits there and just whines 3 times a day, driving drunk.
There you have it. Gilbert Arenas. Always a pleasure when we get together. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.